can recognize my reflection anymore. Is this what it feels like to get older? Wait at the station, take pictures like before. I know I'm worse off when it's colder. Does it hurt to lie every time? Put on a front for the night, pretend you're fine. I could have given up, but I'm still here. I could have given up, but I'm still here.
Just frustrating.
Did you even try to make it right? Or did you hide inside and waste your life? I could have given up, but I'm still here. I could have given up, but I'm still
Mike Trout is a right fielder, and with that, an era has ended in Los Angeles and in baseball entirely. But today, a new era begins, at least for us, and that is MLB 25, as we are today going to start with a realistic rebuild of the Los Angeles Angels. Mike Trout is going to be our major focus, as over the last 4 seasons, we're starting to see some major regression from Mike Trout due to the injuries that he's dealt with. In the last 4 years, he's only played 41% of his games, only playing 266 games in that time, and has seen some of his stats regress. What we're trying to avoid is a Ken Griffey Jr. situation with Mike Trout. And the Angels don't seem to be in a position of contention where we're looking at them even contending for a World Series to get him a ring. Mike Trout likely, no matter what, will end up being a Hall of Famer, but can we get him to a level of these legends that we have seen in the past that we believed he would be able to get in the 2010s when he was really contending for being one of the greatest players of all time? And so today, as we look at our first realistic rebuild of MLB 25, we have some goals in mind. We are going to be starting from real scratch, the base roster of the game, looking at this for the first time. I haven't even opened up Mlbtheshow yet. This is, okay, besides Diamond Dynasty, had to open my packs, but when it comes down to this rebuild, we are going to be starting from scratch. We're going to use a lot of the mechanics that we knew in MLB 24 when it came to scouting and training and drafting and what players were good. And we're going to learn a lot throughout this rebuild as we are learning MLB 25. And in this rebuild, the thing that we're doing a little bit differently than in past ones is we are going to focus solely on Mike Trout. We will finish this rebuild when Mike Trout retires from the major leagues. And with that, that means that we have to win a World Series before he retires. We want to get him into the Hall of Fame. We want to actually make sure that we can build a superstar team to potentially replace him, so we're not leaving this team, I guess, empty whenever he is finished. And so, throughout the rebuild, we will do our scouting and drafting to try to find some replacement players that will end up being, hopefully, at a level that at least can contribute to something similar to Mike Trout, though you will never be able to replace him. We're also going to sign free agents to make sure that we can continue to contend. And because Mike Trout is 33, we're going to have to start right away. So this year is going to be a down year, as the Angels haven't really spent a lot of money in free agency and don't have a whole lot of players that we are going to be building around this team right now. But as we look towards the future, free agency, the drafts, and trades are all going to be tools at our disposal to building this Angels roster up to a World Series contender in a very, very competitive AL West. Let's take a look at our roster. Our pitching staff leads at the top with Yusei Kikuchi, who we this season signed to a 3-year, $64 million deal, or around that mark, for the 33-year-old pitcher to be done when he's 36. Now, is he an ace? Technically, he has the ability to be so. He's a very good pitcher and has had very good seasons, more as of late in Toronto, and we could a little bit in Seattle, though his ERA has always been a little high. He does give up a lot of runs. He could be somebody at that level, though I just don't really see it for the long term. We don't have a whole lot of depth when it comes to pitching either. Jose Soriano will hopefully be decent for a while. He is 26 years old and has been pretty good up to this point, though I don't know how much he actually can grow, just looking at his potential rating the game has given him. Reed Detmers, the first-round pick in 2020, is somebody who has been a prospect for them for a while, but hasn't necessarily shown it just yet. We brought in Kyle Hendricks, the 35-year-old pitcher from the Chicago Cubs, this offseason. Basically going to be a replacement player. And last year, Jack Kohanowicz, or Kohanowicz, actually, my bad on the pronunciation, is a pitcher who started off his first few games last season and could be a potential rookie of the year contender. Maybe not. He's a 3rd-round pick in 2019, but could be decent. I don't necessarily know. Our bullpen has the very expensive Tyler Anderson on the last year of his deal, and then Chase Silseth, 24-year-old pitcher who hopefully can develop into something, but yet has not, as 2 other players that are there. Our bullpen's been pretty bad, but we do have some young potential. I think Ben Joyce is technically the guy who has the most shot. I don't like his walks per 9, but the 3rd-round pick in 2022 has a rocket for an arm, was very, very good last season. And while we're going to have Kenley Jansen as our closer this year, I could see if Ben Joyce develops, he could really be our closer of the future for this team, as long as he can continue to keep those walks per 9 down. They don't hinder him too much, because it's a very volatile thing to have that low of a walks per 9. We're going to make sure to develop that as much as possible, because he is the future there. I also think Jose Quijada is somebody who could be there. I know he's got arbitration next year, but we'll bring him back. We are the Angels. We do have the money as soon as Rendon's off the contract. And then Kenley Jansen will be our bullpen arm for right now. When it comes to the lineup, we actually have a few guys that I really like, and some young players as well that have some potential, as well as some trying to get some redemption arcs out of other players. So Mike Trout in the 3 slot is our main player here. Good power, good contact. He's Mike Trout. The hope is that he doesn't regress too poorly. We want to make sure he stays healthy. So we will play him in right field for as long as possible until we feel like his defense regresses to a point where he will have to go to the DH role. He already has 82.8 WAR. And so We do want to get him over 100. We want to get him actually pretty high, but we'll see what we can do with that. Other notable core members of this team are Luis Rengifo, who is a free agent this offseason. He has been pretty good. I mean, he was very good last season for the 78 games that he played. If he can keep this up, we will re-sign him. I actually like him a lot at second base because of that contact ability, though we need to see a little bit more out of it. One player who really performed very well was 2022 first-round draft pick Zach Neto, who is a fantastic defensive player already at shortstop. I mean, not fantastic. He does have a lot of errors, but I do see a lot of potential here in Zach Neto. Already high WAR, 23 home runs, 34 doubles last year in his rookie season. If he can keep this up and continue to grow, I see him being a core member of this team in the future. And I think the other main young players that I really like to see are Nolan Schanuel, who was the 2023 first-round draft pick, who they brought up right away because they didn't have any roster spots, who, I mean, gets on base. That's what I like to see out of my out of all my players, not just first baseman. Though he will be platooning this season, as he still does not have enough of a lefty bat, I think, to be able to say we have to keep him there. I don't know if I like this interface like this. It might be a little crowded, but all right, it's all right. I also think Logan O'Hoppe is a future player for us that I think could be somebody we could really build around as the catcher. Decent season last year. I want to see a little bit more on base percentage. I'm always looking for that as a priority. But those are our core members, I think. I think Schanuel, O'Hoppe, and Neto are the main guys that we're really trying to build around with Trout. Though I do see Rengifo could stay if he continues to play well. And we have some redemption guys. I think Mickey Moniak, for example, somebody who, if he puts together a decent season, could stick around in the outfield. And I see we have Joe Adell, who we're still trying to make work. He's 25. So, there's a shot for potential, but he just is not good at hitting the ball, which is a very important element of baseball. And then when it comes down to it, we also have Taylor Ward here, who is 31, a little older. We have Yohan Moncada, Jorge Soler, and then we also have some other guys here on the bench in Kevin Newman, old man there, Travis d'Arnaud, and Ryan Noda. That's our roster. And so when it comes to prospects, we don't really have much. We are a pretty thin system. We have Caden Dana, not that great. 11th round pick in 2022, though been pretty decent. And Christian Moore is the actual very interesting piece that I would like to see come up and build around. He only can play second base, so that's where the Rengifo thing kind of gets in it. I also think Nelson Rada could be somebody who's interesting, though 19, I don't know, and some of these pitchers obviously as well. But we have a long way to go. So we're going to do and get into some scouting, look at some players, get into the draft stuff, and just see if we can try to go around 500, not be the worst team in baseball this year. We are ranked 22nd. We do have decent contact, but I don't know. I'll see you around the draft. Actually, before we get to the draft, I do want to point out we have the second overall pick this year. I just want to show the guys that are on here and this board, just also so you can see this scouting system if you have not played the game yet, just to see what it looks like this year. These are the guys that we have on the top of our boards right now. Trey Delahanty is the ranked number 1. You can see I'm still getting the tutorial. This shows you I have not looked at this at all yet. And I'm also noticing a lot more 99s in this range, meaning that I wonder if they've expanded the potential range that these players could be at. Because, man, these prospects look good. Though, we don't know yet. These are some very interesting prospects to look at. And if we're looking for a Mike Trout replacement, we might have found one already in either Trey Delahanty or Alvaro Trevino. I'd like to see it. Also want to point out, this is what a generational talent might have looked like last year. And so as we rebuild this, I'm going to do one more scouting period. That was the system that functioned in order to make sure that you could get them. After you had fully scouted them, you had to do one more week in order to actually see if they were. So Trey Delahanty, we're going to do one more week just to see if that is still how generational prospect scouting works. We'll see if he is. And now we know that that is correct. One extra week after you have scouted the player, If you continue to scout them, you will find a generational talent. Trey Delahanty is a generational talent at third base. If the first pick does not go Trey Delahanty, we will be able to get him with our first pick. That is going to be at the top of our draft board. Well, we'll see. Taking a quick look at some of the guys on my big board, Trey Delahanty is obviously the number one guy that we're looking at. This is a generational talent at third base. The Nationals have pick 1, so we're hoping they take like a pitcher that's near the top of the board so that we can end up getting Delahanty instead. If we are unable to get Delahanty, then Ernie Sutherland is a good second option. He is a good contact hitter, will probably be my other pick. These are the two guys I will be deciding between for pick 1. We did find some other interesting players. JJ Rogers is a catcher who was ranked 59th, and we're looking at him at 11th. Good contact. I'd like to see that out of a catcher. I know we have one in O'Hoppe, but it never hurts to get another good catcher. JJ Rogers could be very interesting. And the last player I really want to show off here, Richie Altman. Decent contact, good vision and discipline, all-around player, 90 to 95 potential. I mean, this is a good outfielder. Could be really good to put out there. Might take him a little while to get there, but really hope that we can get him as well. Not going to show the whole draft, but we will show this. Will Delahanty be picked? He is not. They take a starting pitcher. That means we are going to get the generational talent, Trey Delahanty, as the second overall pick. That's our core piece that we're looking for. Number 2 overall, Trey Delahanty is going to be your third baseman. At the All-Star break, we are 46-50, and while I don't think we're in a terrible spot to potentially make it to the playoffs, I mean, we are 5.5 games out. We could still make it. I think what I might do is I might try to sell on some guys. I don't really see us making a difference if we do make it. We have a lot of real big gaps in the roster, and after drafting Delahanty, I am pretty confident that we could be a really good team. Like, we could be a really good roster in the future. So I want to look at first All-Stars. We did get a couple. We got at the closing position, we got Kenley Jansen, who probably didn't deserve it, but we'll take it. We'll take it. We also got Luis Renifo, who has been amazing this season, hitting .347 right now. Definitely fantastic year. I am going to try to get him contract extension. I don't want him to even hit free agency. I want to try to hit him with a contract extension as soon as possible. And then lastly, Mike Trout did make it. He is not playing great, but he does have 26 home runs at the break, and he's been healthy, which is all that really matters. 265, yes, he's not looking like Mike Trout does, but we'll take it. He's still at least decent. It's an improvement over the last couple years, and we need that level of improvement. I just hope that he can grow a little bit and make sure to get closer to that 300 mark for average. When it comes down to our trade block and trade blocks in general, we have a few guys on our team. I'm putting Kikuchi up there. I put Soler up. Soler is a sell high. Kenley, I'm going to sell high on that All-Star, and I'm just going to try to get it. And then Tyler Anderson, Kikuchi probably aren't going to get me anything, but I'm putting them up there just in case there's interest, as well as Yohan Moncada. I do feel like we need a starting pitcher. I do feel like we need a center fielder. And so that's what I'm going to be looking for across the board. Let me actually reset that trade block so you can see. Seiya Suzuki is the top guy on the board. I don't necessarily think that that will be something we will be pursuing too heavily, but we can take a look, see if there's anybody that is interesting for us, and try to make a few little moves. The Brewers just proposed a trade, and I feel like it's a steal of a deal for us, and I'm going to take it. I think they're contending right now, trying to make themselves, as they normally are, a playoff team, a position that maybe they can make their run this year. They want Kenley Jansen, our all-star closer. They'll give us a young prospect in Braylon Payne, center fielder. He's 18. Doesn't look like he's got a lot of potential, but I'll take it. Jorge Soler has put together a pretty good season for us so far, and while I know we have another year on his contract, I think it'd be more valuable for us to try to sell him off for something that we could use right now. And Jorge Soler, I think, is going to be moved for us. We are going to send him to contender. The Padres are contending for that last wildcard spot in the NL. And we're going to get Brian Hoeing out of it, a reliever. He's a little older, but I'm hoping that we can get several years out of Brian Hoeing, and he can be very good for us. Holy blue. That is an insane draft class for us. So, generational talent, Trey Delahunty at the top with 99 potential. Richie Altman with 94 potential at the second slot. 91 potential in Jungwoo Park at the 3 slot. Mustafa Hobson with 90 at the 4. Mendoza with 98 potential at the 5. And Pedro Cabrera with 88 in the 6. That's a blue draft for you. The Tigers also took J.J. Rogers. Normally I'd say, wow, this is a miss for us, but I mean, because we got our guy, but I don't have to say that. But wow, 97 potential. J.J. Rogers, already 75 contact. We should watch out for him. It's going to be very, very good. As September starts, we find ourselves 4.5 games out. Looks like our division winner will probably be the Rangers. I don't see anybody catching them, but 4.5 games out, we might be able to make the wild card. And we're going to come up just short, unfortunately. 80-82. We missed the postseason, but it's not that bad of a way to end it. I mean, I guess unless we lost by 1? Did we lose by 1? No, we were 5 games out. So we did not really come close. I mean, I guess we did. One of the better teams of the season. How did the Orioles go 79? How did the Merit? Okay. All right. I wonder how the sim is going to work this year. That feels weird. So we missed the postseason, but I'm not too concerned about it. When I look at our roster and what we were, expecting to do, I guess I'm pretty happy with our end results there, that we went 80-82. And I guess the big thing is, how did our players do? For the AL MVP, Gunnar Henderson comes away with it, hitting .331 with 35 home runs and 134 RBIs. Aaron Judge in second place, and Mike Trout with third place in the AL MVP. In the NL MVP, Shohei Ohtani wins that with 60 home runs and 166 RBIs. Crazy season from Shohei. Ozuna, second with 50 home runs and 128, and Juan Soto, third place for the Mets. The AL Cy Young goes to Bryce Miller of the Seattle Mariners after going 20-5 with a 2.45 ERA and 158 strikeouts. Not a lot of strikeouts, but going 20-5, MLB The Show still values wins. Crochet in second, Scooball in third. For the NL Cy Young, Aaron Nola finally comes away with that, going 19-7 with a 2.63 ERA and a 191 strikeouts. Blake Snell comes in second, Tyler Glasnow in third, as the Dodgers are dominant this year. For us, Mike Trout also gets himself a Gold Glove. In the American League, our league leaders in the major stat categories are Aaron Judge with the .349 batting average this season, leads the AL in batting average. In hits, he had 204, beating Gunnar Henderson by 1 hit to get that award. Luis Renifo was third in that with 187 hits. When it comes down to doubles, Bobby Witt led the league in that with 53, tied with Gunnar Henderson. Triples goes to Gunnar Henderson. Home runs is Mike Trout with 49 home runs leading the way. RBIs, Gunnar Henderson with 134. When it comes to stolen bases, Victor Robles led the league in 49 stolen bases. Your saves leader is Devin Williams of the New York Yankees. Your ERA leader is Bryce Miller of the Seattle Mariners. And your strikeouts leader is Tariq Skubal of the Detroit Tigers with 195. On the NL side, William Contreras is going to come away with the batting title, hitting .344. Xavier Edwards, which, if you recall from last year, was one of these players that we valued really heavily due to our Moneyball experiment, was second with .329. In fact, a couple guys on that list, Spencer Horwitz finished 4th, Jonah Bride finished 5th on that list. Those guys were also Moneyball players from last year. Jake McCarthy finished 10th. A lot of guys on our list, and Jerkson Profar in 11th. Moneyball might still work, fellas. When it comes to Hits, Xavier Edwards with 202 leads the way in the NL. When it comes to doubles, Shohei Ohtani hit 50 doubles, leading the way there. Triples goes to Connor Norby. Home runs, 60 home runs for Shohei Ohtani as he leads the way and gets another MVP under his belt with 166 RBIs this season. Shohei was dominant. Stolen base leader was Christian Yelich with Xavier Edwards as the close runner-up with 45. When it comes down to pitching stats, saves leader is Tanner Scott of the Los Angeles Dodgers. When it comes to ERA, Aaron Nola, your Cy Young winner, won the ERA crown with a 2.63 ERA. And your strikeout leader is Shohei Ohtani with 235. As this is the first sim, I do got to take a look at the Shohei Ohtani stat line. This season, he hit 201 hits, 60 home runs, 166 RBIs, 305 average, over 1,000 OPS. That is 9.1 batting WAR this season that he had in this, and that's not even including his pitching, in which he was one of the Cy Young contestants. Well, I think he was like fourth probably, who he went 15-9, had 235 strikeouts, 337, 136 WHIP with another 4.4 WAR, meaning that he ended up with 13.5 WAR this season. Absolutely dominant from him. I will be scared of this for every year from now on. For the Los Angeles Angels, we struggled a little bit throughout the year. We obviously went below 500, but I'm not too upset with how this season went, just considering how we kind of had a patchwork roster. And you can see this with some of our guys. Jose Soriano went to the bench after he was pitching poorly. 404 ERA, 1.35 WHIP was okay as a long reliever. Victor Gonzalez was not good as a bullpen arm. Chase Silseth was terrible, pitching at a 2.2 or 12.23 ERA and a 2.49 WHIP. Not good. Hoeing wasn't good when we brought him in. Kraus was bad. Quijada was all right. Stevenson, I brought up halfway through the season, was meh. Joyce was decent. Joyce was pretty good. 13 saves, 5 blown saves. I mean, he was okay, I guess. I would like to see a little bit more. Kikuchi was good this year, though. He did regress a lot, but 3.55 ERA, 1.27 WHIP, 142 strikeouts. I did like to see that. Hendricks was decent, not great. 4.15 ERA, 1.38 WHIP. Detmers wasn't that good, 4.54 ERA with a 1.49 WHIP. Anderson was pretty good actually this year. I know he ends up with a 4.79 ERA, but that was why I put him on the block. Not only because we could shed $13 million, but because he wasn't actually that bad. There just wasn't any moves that were making sense for him. And then Jack Kwanowitz with a 4.68 in his rookie season. We'll take it. That's a pretty good rookie season for a pitcher. I think he's a good piece to this team. For our lineup, we actually had a few struggling points, a few good spots. I'd like to highlight both. Darno was actually really, really good as a backup catcher and a platoon catcher. Pretty good this season. 270, hit 9 home runs. Not a whole lot for what Darno can do, but I like to see it. Good bat from him. Good backup guy. Kingery came in after we made some trades and then I guess stayed up. Mickey Moniak was terrible. Absolutely awful. One of the reasons why we will be needing to get an outfielder, because that is awful. Mickey Moniak had 288 at-bats and still only hit 153. Ryan Noda was pretty good at first base as the platoon bat. I'd like to see it. He improved, got better at hitting, and 378 on-base percentage. He's got a legit shot. I mean, he should be playing this upcoming season. Renifo, 310 average. He had a nice 187 hits this season, was one of the best bats in the league. We signed him to a 5-year extension worth, I want to say, $78 million until 2030, and when he will be 33. I think that he will be a core member of this team, and he showed it to me. Kevin Newman came in the DH, wasn't that bad at 245. Mike Trout this season hit 278, great improvement in the second half. 356 on base percentage, 49 home runs, 142 hits, finally played 139 games and was healthy this year. While I would like to see that average go up, we're talking about a near 1,000 OPS season from him as he puts up a grand total of 6.3 WAR Very good season from him as his first season in right field. We can hope to see that as the coming years go, that he stays this consistent for the next several years. And he was third in the MVP. It's what we'd like to see. Logan O'Hoppe, pretty good. 256, 24 home runs at our catcher position. Moncada was not good. Hit 223. His potential does go up, though. So do we re-sign him? I don't know. I don't think so, but if he's cheap, maybe. Shanwell, very good. 9 home runs, 275 average, 364 on base. I think my big thing is I wonder, do we put Noda as a DH and Shanwell as first baseman? I think both of those guys need to be in the lineup. Taylor Ward, 246. Zach Neto was not good this year. I was really talking him up before we went in, and he did not have a good year. Negative WAR this season. I need to see better next year, and Joe Adell was also not good either. So we will need a replacement center fielder. We will probably want a replacement DH, if not going to be Ryan Noda, and maybe a replacement third baseman. I don't think I'm going to bring up Delahanty right away. So let's sim the off season, and let's see who wins the World Series in 2025. The Phillies defeat the Rangers in the 2025 World Series. Your Phillies go 4-0 over them as they sweep. I mean, the Rangers also swept the Yankees there too. Take a look at these awards quick. World Series MVP goes to Nick Castellanos as the Phillies finally pull away with this award. With getting there, the Rangers get postseason MVP from Corey Seager, and Trey Turner wins it on the Phillies side. And so the Phillies finally win their World Series, and we will see you in the offseason with our new free agency in MLB 25. Taking a quick look at free agency, there's a lot of guys I actually really like on the board. My big ones being that I think Dylan Cease and Michael King, or one of those two, would be the preferred option. But because of the qualifying offer situation and losing picks, I don't necessarily think that's the best decision for us to do. I feel like that's just repeating all of the mistakes the Angels have done in the past. I think we're going to avoid this. We're going to try to go for pitchers that are not going to cost me that level of money, though we do have to improve our pitching staff mainly. And so as we start our free agency, I think I'm going to focus on two guys right now. Mainly John Means at starting pitcher. He will be expensive, but he's been pretty consistently good as long as he has been healthy for them the last several years in Baltimore and this past season in Cleveland. And since he's not as expensive, doesn't cost us a draft pick, I would love to see John Means on this team. And then one of my favorite players always to get is Luis Arias. I know he can really only play first. I think he could be our DH. He's not a good defensive player, so why not put him at DH? We love the contact. He gets on base. It's what we want to see. So these are the two guys I really want to focus on. We will focus on more later down the road. I put positional needs as starting pitching, center fielder, and relief pitching. With Arias hopefully being this DH spot, that means that then we will fill in the needs with hopefully people who call us. Interesting mechanic, now that I've seen it. Basically, the Athletics offered him a deal. I paid a little higher. We now have Luis Arias on the team. Kind of fun, actually. Kind of fun little gamey mechanic for this. I will be curious how it goes as we have more complex free agents, because we're not spending big money this offseason. And see, this is also kind of cool. So basically, the Rangers are looking at Ranger Suarez. That just fits too well. And we could go out and say, hey, maybe we want him. However, I'm not going to pay Ranger Suarez $26 million. I don't see that value there. So I'm not interested. Also, good fit. Ranger to the Rangers. What? Okay. And we jump up massively to the 6th spot in this draft. The Rays get the number 1. The Orioles get pick 4. They don't need that. They're already screwing their own chances. 6th pick. Not a bad spot to be in. Hey, John Means just needed an extra year. The 2026 season is here, and that means that it is time for us to hopefully make ourselves a wild card spot. And what I'm hoping is that the moves that we made this offseason will get us there. Now, we did max out our budget this year with some of the moves that we made, And as I'm thinking back, I may have overpaid for some guys, but I think when it comes to our actual team, I'm pretty happy with it. Pitching rotation, we brought in John Means, so we're going to go Kikuchi, Means, Soriano, Detmers, and then Kahuanowicz as our main rotation, with Silseth as our backup. He was very bad last year, but if he remains this bad, we could also move and bring up Caden Dana, who I don't know if he'll be good, but he might be better than Silseth. Cade Horton, I got out of the Rule of 5 draft. I've just seen him be good sometimes, so figured bring him in now, save him while we can. We have Hoeing. I got in Sir Anthony Dominguez off of nothing, and this is basically our team this season, with Joyce going to be our closer. Pitching rotation, I think, is still a little weak, but next season has a lot of free agents in the pitching rotation, and we will have money because Rendon's contract will be up. When it comes to the lineup, I'm actually very happy with it. I think that, if anything, I feel pretty good to a point where I could say, like, Kevin Newman and Ryan Noda, I kind of wish I could play them as well. Luis Arias is going to be our DH this season. We talked about not wanting him to play defense. DH, he will play. We have 3 first basemen. Now he can play other positions, so if we have some needs, we can move him, but he will be that. Brought in Randall Grichuk to play in the outfield. He's been pretty good over the last couple years getting on base, and so I just wanted to take advantage of that. He's been very good getting on base. Want him there, especially with Joe Adele and Moniak not being that great. Maybe Adele will be good, but I don't know. I also got Brendan Rodgers out of the Rule 5 draft. I know that he is very inconsistent, but if he can give us something like this, I could be very satisfied with what we get out of it, especially with the Gold Glove level defense that he used to play. I'm hopeful. I look at the contact stats and I'm hopeful, but I don't know. So this season, we are going to be hoping that this is a wild card team with a pretty good offense, but maybe a mediocre pitching staff. And so 1st in contact, 5th in power, 27th in pitching. Good offense, bad pitching staff. If we have to make moves, we will make them at the deadline. But we also have the 6th pick, so we can still rack up some guys. Wild card, that's our goal. The Brewers have Aaron Ashby and Blake Perkins up on the trade block, and knowing that they would want to cut money, they are a cheap organization, and we are not one. I think what we're going to do is we're going to make a move. They're going to get Chase Silseth back in return because he's got 5 years of team control. And we're also going to give him Denzer Guzman, a prospect, and Nico Cavados, who's not really ever going to come up for us. He's not really a prospect either. He's just kind of a minor league, like a AAA first baseman. But we're going to get Ashby and Blake Perkins, and this is also going to facilitate another move we're going to do, which is I'm going to save some of the money on Mickey Moniak and Christian Pache, 2 guys who I have here who have no real value for us, to get just a minor league pitcher in Will Bednar, who maybe could be a bullpen arm next season. And then to fill out our roster, because I've got one too many guys and I can't cut anybody, Jose Suarez is going to have to be the odd man out. He does have a potential, but he's not good. So Pirates just offered me Carmen McGinsky for Kyron Paris. I think we'll do it. He's been pretty good. He's improving. We'll take it. Taking a look through this draft was pretty hard. It's kind of one where I wish I didn't have pick 6, honestly. If I could have had my luck anywhere else, I wouldn't have had it on this one. Just because there weren't a lot of good position players. We're going to look at a few. Andy Grady is one of them. He was originally ranked 10th. We got him up to 7th. Decent contact, decent power, right? But, like, nothing real special. Same thing goes for Bobby Cabral, who's pretty much the same thing. Good contact, though. I kind of like Cabral the most. Though I think Grady's technically better, Cabral might play better. And then Gustavo Salinas feels closer to being a league player and could be something, but I don't really necessarily know. I mean, he kind of looks closer to our like Taylor Ward than anything. And then I wish I could have finished Corey Thomas, because look at the contact, but I didn't finish scouting him. And that's because this draft was a pitcher-heavy draft. So there's a lot of top-end pitchers in this draft, but I also think that it doesn't make a lot of sense to take one. They take so long to develop, and they're not really guaranteed. So I don't know if I should waste a 6th overall pick on a starting pitcher if I'm not certain. Seems everybody made my life real hard by taking and leaving me the choice of Andy Grady or Bobby Cabral, or Corey Thomas for that matter. I feel like we have to go with one of these top 2 just to be safer. And technically, just based off of the motivation, I think the safest pick is Bobby Cabral. Even if I don't think we need him as badly, I think I'm going to go with Cabral. I think he'll end up being a better player. And right before the All-Star break, we just got this offer from the Tigers. They're offering us Jason Foley for Kevin Newman. I don't know why I wouldn't take that. And so at the All-Star break, we are 50-48, just above 500. That does put us in the wild card slot, that third wild card, as we've won 5 of our last games. As you can see, we're kind of an offensive-heavy team. We still need to improve our pitching, but I'm very happy with where we have been from production from our offense. It's the pitching staff that continues to need improvement. When it comes to All-Stars, we are a little bit thinner this year than we were last year in regards to, I guess, some positions. We pretty much only have Mike Trout this year, though I think that around and across the board, we are a better team. I mean, Luis Arias, I guess, technically got DH as All-Star as well, but I feel like we're a better team. I feel like we deserve more, but I don't know. Could be wrong. And I think we might be a playoff team, so I think it's time to make an investment. We are going to trade for Tyler Holton. We could have done this straight up for Daryl Hicks, but I actually don't have the roster spots for this move. So I'm going to give them Robert Stevenson as well, because he, amongst the bullpen arms, is the one I would be willing to give up. So Holton will come in. Holton is pitching at a .96 ERA so far this season. I think he might take the closer spot for the rest of the year. By getting off of Stevenson, I also can now afford to finally do this. Brendan Rodgers, a Rule 5 pickup, has been phenomenal for us this year. He's on the last year of his deal. I'm going to sign him to an extension. I don't want to pay him that much, but if we can get him 5 years, maybe I will have to. Maybe I will have to pay him 34. All right, 34 million. Brendan Rodgers, here for 5 years. I don't think we did too bad, but I don't think this was a great draft for us. Cabral is at least going to be a decent player, 86 potential, but not exactly the best. Still will be decent. Murillo was actually injured. Didn't check that. That's on me on that one. So he ends up only having 75 potential. That is a big miss for us on Murillo. Mortero, decent. Alfonso will be very good. But it might take him a while to get there. And then Chad Evans and Quinones, sorry, that N is difficult for me to pronounce, are also decent. I think Quinones might be a long reliever with that 72 stamina. I think out of anybody, this is the one I really wanted to know. Corey Thomas, 86 potential. That kind of sucks. Good contact. Would have been nice to get. Andy Grady had 88 potential, more power. I still think Cabral might be the better player. We're going to have to watch the A's to see if Grady ends up being this good. It seems like the actual miss is a guy I didn't even have on my board. I didn't even have on my notable board. Roosevelt Ryder. Never saw him whatsoever. Great contact. Great potential. I missed out on him. This seems to be our actual big miss this draft. And with 1 month to go, we are 74-65. We put together a pretty good second half so far. Look at how much more offense we have than some of these other teams. We are up 3 games. We just need to hold that advantage for the rest of the month. See how we do in September. We'll take that. We make it as a wild card team at 90-72, fulfilling one of our goals already. We made the playoffs by 2026. We are a contender already. With Trout being our best player, it's a good spot to be. Essentially, the biggest component, I believe, was the improvement of the bullpen, because as I look at our team, we were one of the best offenses all year, but it was that pitching staff improvement, nor that, I guess, in the second half that really flipped it. We were 2 games above 500 at the All-Star break. We end up way above 500 at this point by the time that we finish the season. A lot of this is due to us making a bunch of bullpen moves
at the end of the season. One of those being Tyler Holton, Delivery Man of the Year award for Tyler Holton, who we picked up at the trade deadline. He will probably continue to be a bullpen arm for us because I think he has several years left on his deal. I may have crowded the team a little bit in some spots, but I'm still very happy to see the production that we got at those positions. The AL MVP going to Yordan Alvarez, who had 54 home runs. He gets his first ever MVP, beating out Aaron Judge and Brent Rooker, who finished second and third in that race. On the NL side, Shohei Ohtani wins it again, 328 average, 44 home runs. Acuna in second and Roki Sasaki in third, meaning that we can quickly move. The NL Cy Young is, of course, Roki Sasaki, with Spencer Strider and Kodai Senga in second and third place. The AL Cy Young, Max Fried of the New York Yankees, the 2.83 ERA and 186 strikeouts. David Festa of the Twins and Joe Ryan come in second and third. Taking a look at league leaders, Yordan Alvarez led the AL with a 326 batting average, and hits actually goes to Luis Arias, a good pickup for us, 196 hits, the best contact batter in all of baseball this year. Comes to doubles, we saw Jarren Duran with 43, triples is Julio with 13, and the home run leader, 54 for Yordan Alvarez. Sung Kim led in stolen bases, only 37, but kind of cool to see that. And in the pitching staff, Robert Garcia gets the most saves with 50 for the Texas Rangers. ERA crown goes to Logan Gilbert of the Seattle Mariners, the 2.4 ERA. And strikeout crown goes to Dylan Cease, now of the Orioles, after this offseason's free agency. On the NL side, Shohei Ohtani leads in batting average at a 328, getting himself a batting title. The hits leader, Shohei Ohtani, as well with 218 hits, though there were 3 NL guys with over 200 hits. Christian Yelich had 205 and Acuna had 202. The National League had a slightly better offense than the American League did. Ohtani also led with 58 doubles, the number one in all of the league with 58. Trey Turner had 13 triples, leading the way in the NL for the Phillies. Ronald Acuna with 49 home runs led the NL with home runs, second in total. Bryce Terang led the stolen bases race with 51 this past season. Victor Robles now in the Giants with 44. Saves crown goes to Devin Williams, now of the Atlanta Braves, with 50 as well. So Robert Garcia and Devin Williams tie for saves with 50. ERA crown goes to Justin Steele of the Cubs, 2.56 ERA this past season. Very good for him. And the strikeout leader is Spencer Strider with 257 strikeouts. Taking a look at who they sent down, Cade Horton did get sent down, which is okay. He was probably the worst pitcher, but he's also the lowest overall. We brought him in specifically off the Rule 5 because I knew he had a lot of potential. And I'm very satisfied for a long reliever to pitch 124 innings at a 4.7 ERA when he was sitting like a 62 overall. Negative WAR player, was our worst bullpen arm. Glad that he's not there for the postseason. The other guy that was a little bit, I guess, the worst other guy that they said was Brian Hoeing, who we brought in via trade last season. And he had 85 innings pitched at a 3.89 or 3.69, my bad, numbers are always hard, ERA and a 1.08 whip. I think that he could be back up on the Major League squad. And looking at the actual Major League squad, Aaron Ashby with a 2.9 ERA in the bullpen, Carmen McGinsky with a 2.61, Foley with a 2.9, Kraus with the 0. I think this is who I will swap for Brian Hoeing this run. Jose Quijada was probably our actual worst bullpen arm, 4.14, 1.48 whip. Ben Joyce was amazing. He had 28 saves, 8 blown saves, but he lost the job because, of course, we brought in Tyler Holton, your reliever of the year, who had 48 saves and 1 with a 0.91 ERA. We still have 2 more years of arbitration on him. He will probably continue to be our closer. Ben Joyce will be our setup man. The starting rotation overalls don't look the best, but I think they performed well, and that's mainly from Yusei Kikuchi with a 3.31, 1.27 whip, 126 strikeouts, very good for him. He's way overpaid for what we are getting out of him, so there might be a chance I would consider moving him this offseason if we can, I guess, make some money work. John Means, our free agent pickup, was also a little overpriced, but 3.59, 1.13 whip, I will take it. Jose Siriano was meh, 4.35, 1.42 whip. Detmers was a little better than Soriano, 4.12 ERA, and Kohanowitz with a 4.19 ERA. It's not been a great pitching staff, but it's been serviceable. Taking a look at our lineup this past season, Joe Adell got moved to the bench, hit 245 in a very small sample size. Darno regressed to a point where I think we will need a backup catcher this next season, though didn't do too badly, 260. It's just that overall is down so much, and he's a free agent anyways. We will need a backup catcher in his replacement. Ryan Noda, 228 average, however, 377 on base. He walks a lot. It makes it a hard judgment call when you're looking at Shanuel being like, I want Shanuel to play. He's younger, but Noda also just gets on base very, very well. I'm starting to think I might have added too many guys. Blake Perkins didn't really play for us much after we brought him in, 247, 319 on base percentage. I think that he might replace Joe Adell. There's a good chance that I'm not going to bring Adell back. I don't know. I think Perkins is a better player. It's hard to tell. We kind of have a little bit of a logjam in some spots, and that's because of just some of the players that we brought in. Luis Arias hit 281 out of the DH. It's one of his worst hitting seasons, though he did hit for 196 hits. I want to see a little bit more out of him next season. I'm hoping that he can make this contract look worth it. He ended up as a DH, only piling in a negative WAR. I guess that's what you get when you don't slug for anything. So we do need more. 727 OPS. I guess he didn't have that good of a year. Led the league in hits, but not good enough. Brendan Rodgers, 310 average. Love all this progression. This is an amazing season for us to pick up a guy off the Rule 5 to play this well. 14 home runs, 180 hits, hit 310. He had an 808 OPS. He had basically his best season of his career this past season, and ended up with a 3.4 WAR. Great season and great pickup for us. When it comes down to it, Renifo was the other second baseman that we had. We had him play third this year, and he had 23 home runs. More power from Renifo, a little bit less OPS. WAR was worse. So we kind of have a little bit of a battle at that second base spot between Brendan Rodgers and Renifo, especially knowing that Delahanty needs to come up pretty soon, just because he's so good. Zach Neto put a good season together after last year's poor season. 28 home runs, good slugging stats from him. I like to see it as he continues to grow. Taylor Ward, decent, 267. Grichuk, 275 as a good free agent signing for us. If we need to make roster moves or roster space, he might be the odd man out. Shanuel, 295, very good season for him. He is our starting first baseman. And Hoppy, 248, 312 OBP. Meh, could have been better. And then Mike Trout, our actual franchise guy here. Look at that contact going up. Very good. A little bit of regression across the board, but that contact and the power did go up a little bit. He hit 42 home runs, 153 hits this season, 102 RBIs, 1,000 OPS for him this year as he hit 295 and starting to look a little bit back to normal with a 4 WAR season, as he's not as good defensively as he was last year. His defensive stats are going to continue to regress. I think he'll be okay in right field for a little bit longer, but there's a good chance at some point we might need to move him to DH. That is where we're going to have to decide on the Arias. We've got a lot of overlap, I think, right now with this team. And so, as we look forward, I've made sure to bring in as much talent as possible. I think in a few positions we have too much. That's a good place to be. That means we can move some to fill in the other gaps. Let's see how we do in the playoffs. And so in our first playoff series since 2014, we will be taking on the Cleveland Guardians. We are going to go Kikuchi versus Bibi, then Means versus Bieber, and then if we need it, it'll be Soriano versus Gavin Williams. I really hope we don't need it because I'm not really that faithful in Soriano. Maybe we'll have a bullpen game. So Kikuchi versus Bibi in game 1. We end up winning that one 13-2. A lot of offense. Love to see that from our team, the Angels. A double from Brendan Rodgers, 2 from Mike Trout, and another one from Shanuel, a triple from Trout, a home run from Rodgers, and a home run from Neto. Great game, basically, from Brendan Rodgers, as we get the victory in game 1. Game 2, Means versus Bieber. Can we pull this one off? We do. We will be advancing to take on the Rangers. After winning that game 6-2, we do pretty well. I'm a little bit confused on why they don't have the box score set up anymore, unless that is just a bug right now. I've never seen it like this. I don't know why we don't have the actual thing on the top that shows you what inning everybody scored in. That might be a bug in MLB 25. Like I said, this is the first time I've opened up that screen. So 6-2, we win that one. We are taking on the Rangers. We are going to go Soriano versus Cody Bradford, Nick Martinez versus Reed Detmers in Game 3, and Kohanowitz versus Melee in Game 3. The Texas Rangers were very good this year. They have a better offense and a better pitching staff than us. They are the best team in our division. Can we take care of them? Game 1, 1-5 loss. Soriano gives up, looks like, 9 ERA. That is probably about 3 runs, something around there. I can't tell. Not doing the math in my head correctly right now. 2, maybe 1, 4, something. I don't care. Whatever. Why am I doing this? Soriano gave up 4 runs. Okay. All right. Boom. I see. It should be super simple math, dude. ERA divided by inning. Shut up. Okay. Detmers versus Nick Martinez in Game 2. Can we take this one back? We win 4-0 in this one to go to Game 3. Kohanowitz for Game 3 versus Tyler Melee. Can we pull this one off? 0-2 loss, no offense. So 2 games that we've lost, our offense hasn't showed up. Our pitching staff has been decent, though, so far. So Kikuchi versus Kumar Rocker in Game 4. Can he pull this one off? We do. We win that one 8-7. Can I look at it this way? Yes, I can. Okay. 8-7. We score 3 in the 8th. 3 in the 8th. I love to see that. 3 in the 8th. Big right there. We're going to say Grichuk hit a 3-run home run in the 8th. I don't know. Probably didn't. It's probably Zach Neto. But, great way to take that back. We are going to Game 5. John Means versus Cody Bradford. If we win this, we are advancing to the ALCS. Can we do that? 9-10 loss. We do not pull it off. If I look at this, we lose in extras. Actually, we blew the save. So is that a Tyler Holton blown save? It is. It's his first blown save. So we invested in the bullpen. It wasn't enough. The Rangers take us out. We lose 9-10 as we sim the rest of the postseason. The Dodgers defeat the Mariners in the 2026 World Series. Your World Series awards go to Teoscar Hernandez getting the World Series MVP. Postseason MVPs David Fry, now on the Mariners. Has he been there for? Maybe not. Okay, David Fry now on the Mariners. And Will Smith of the Dodgers. So it's a good start. We were 1 inning away from making it to the ALCS here in 2026. Still need to get our guy a chance at a World Series ring. But guess what? Rendon is off the books. We have some money. Let's see what we can do with it. I'm going to try to make some bigger moves in free agency, and we have about $60 to $70 million of space. I don't see Joe Adell being a part of this future, so I'm going to move Joe Adell and 2 prospects in Mac McCroskey and Mason Erla for hopefully a different starting pitcher, because I'm also going to move some starting pitchers. And that's because after 2 really good seasons of Yusei Kikuchi, we're going to move off of him while he's still expensive and has some value after a 3.31 ERA season. We are going to trade him for a backup catcher from the Rockies. I don't think it's necessarily anything special. It's just more, let's dump some money and get ourselves a backup catcher, because I didn't really like any of them on the market. Hey, we have an ace. Shane Bieber coming to the Los Angeles Angels. Oh, and we got another one. Something else happening. Hey, we also got Brian Abreu, reliever. We wanted to kind of steal him off the Astros. If anything, that was my main goal with Brian Abreu. I don't really feel like we needed him, but it doesn't hurt. I like Quijada go, so why not? How the hell did this happen? Not kidding. I had him like 34%. Garrett Crochet is now a Los Angeles Angel. I think it's time for Trey Delahanty, which means I have a little bit of a problem in the middle of my lineup. Too many guys play the same positions, and so we need to, I guess, move something outside. My thought is, I think Grichuk is the weak link, which is funny because I don't actually think he is. I just think he's 34. But the Blue Jays said Santander would be fine as a perfect swap for Luis Renifo. I'm going to make that swap. If they're willing to make that swap, I'm making that swap. We're getting Anthony Santander. Starting off 2027, I think this team is a division champ, possibly. We obviously still have the Rangers on our way, and the Mariners are still a very good team, but I think we finally built enough pitching to make up for the gaps that we had in the past. The bullpen is still really good, and the pitching rotation is even better. Meaning that I think we're in a good spot this year to finally contend with Mike Trout. The pitching staff this season is going to start looking like this. Garrett Crochet we signed, honestly, on accident. What happened was I had Skubal and Crochet, the top two guys in the market, on my board, and they gave me and did the whole, hey, somebody else is going to offer him a deal, make the call. I made the call. We got Crochet for $36 million a year. It's probably an overpay, to be honest, but I also didn't think I was going to get him. And so I also didn't think I was going to get Skubal. So I guess Crochet will take. Crochet, we have our ace. We also got Shane Bieber. John Means is still here. We have Reed Detmers and Emerson Hancock, who we traded for. Soriano is going to be on the bench, as well as Kohanowicz. And our bullpen arms that are actually like relievers are going to be Hoang, McGinsky, Foley, Abreu, Joyce, and Holton. We are going to start this year with Cade Horton down and Ashby down, and Cade Dana as well as Kiyasin are going to be there as well. So I think we're in a spot where some of these guys could be legit contenders to be on this team shortly, especially if Kohanowicz doesn't do well or Soriano doesn't do well. I think we might have some actual guys to pull off those replacements. So that's not bad from our rotation. When it comes to the lineup, I think we're in an even better spot. So Arias is going to stay as that DH. I basically had to decide if I was going to keep two of the three of Arias, Rogers, and Renifo, which one did I want to keep? Which ones did I want to trade away? So I spent a good amount of time looking at trade scenarios for Arias, for Rogers, and for Renifo, and that ended up allowing us to get Santander, which was the best guy I could possibly get on the market. I would take this. I mean, last year he had 33 home runs. He hit 262. We'll take it. That's the power bat that we need, especially because I did let Taylor Ward go. So when we look at this, we have Ohapi at catcher still. Shanuel and Delahanty is going to be up this year at third base. He's already an 86 overall as a rookie. Hope is we can get him a Rookie of the Year this year in his age 19 season, and he can become a stud for us. Blake Perkins and Grichuk are going to platoon at center field, and we do have Alex Verdugo as well now as a backup outfielder too, and Ryan Noda can also play right field if needed. So we have a couple backups, and I think we're in a good spot. So this is going to be the team this year. I'm hoping that this is a 90-plus win team, if not 100-plus wins, just with the pure batting ability we have, and now that we've resolved some of the pitching, I think we're in a good spot. Let's see how we can do. I think this is a good team. It's a chance to win a World Series. I skipped past the draft as we had picked 23, and I don't think it's necessarily as important. I'll show you right here as we look at our draft board. I'll warn you ahead of time. These guys on my draft board aren't very good, and so this is going to be a pretty weak draft. I'll show you the end results of it, but I don't really see much of it being high potential. I think there's a lot of really, really good players, but we don't have a top pick because we made the playoffs last year. So at around pick 23, I could see us getting a Bo White. I could get... There's a couple guys. Essentially, the way I see it, there is a few players we could see. Charles Chick, though he doesn't have a lot of offense. We have Bo White, who I think is a good... Bernardo Rubio is probably the best player that I could get, but I don't necessarily know if he'll still be there. And then Burt Lincoln is very interesting. Has all the stats I like, but has very low potential. So I don't know. We could also draft the pitcher. I think I might end up just taking Bo White, but we'll see. At the All-Star break, we have a few All-Stars, including our ace this season, not Garrett Crochet, but Shane Bieber, who has a 2.34 ERA, .93 whip. Fantastic start for him this season as he is the All-Star starter in the American League. The other guys that we have is no other pitchers, though our bullpen is still one of the best ones. Sadly, Luis Renifo ends up being a All-Star for a different team, but Trey Delahanty specifically is an All-Star as a rookie. You love to see it. He is just been phenomenal so far, hitting 300, 378 on base percentage, already with 18 home runs, over 100 hits at the All-Star break. He is going to be a stud for us. I think we have a fantastic future franchise face. And Santander, also All-Star. So both guys in the Renifo trade, All-Stars, 23 home runs so far at the All-Star break for Anthony Santander. And then Mike Trout, also a All-Star, hitting 333. He has 30 home runs at the break, though not the starter, meaning that they still believe that Brent Rooker or Aaron Judge are better than him. But we'll take it. Fantastic start for us. We currently are sitting at 65-31, and division winner, very likely. Rangers aren't as good this year because their pitching staff has fallen off. And so I see us winning this division, and the question is, can we get 100 games? Can we get any award winners? Bieber's going really well for a potential Cy Young, and Mike Trout for an MVP in 2027. Maybe? A little disappointing from this draft, but honestly, I think we hit some other guys very well. Bo White only has 78 potential, and that means that, honestly, I think I would have rather than gone with somebody else. But Ramon Huffman ends up being pretty good, 93 potential at third base. He's far away, though. Sean Conway, really nothing, 77 potential. Did get a random swing on Garrett Hoffman, 88 potential reliever with high strikeouts per 9, and then a 71 potential Jarrett Leal. Not a good draft from us. Thankfully, we don't miss up too badly. Burt Lincoln has 75 potential, so not too bad missing on him. And I feel a little better, too, because this was the guy who was ranked number 1, Steve Connor. I didn't mention him at all. I guess I put him on the top of my other notables. But he looked like a gen talent, but I guess maybe not. He just had it all around really good, ranked 1 of 1, all of that. Ends up only having 76 potential. Not too bad of a miss. The Blue Jays knocked their draft out of the park, getting an 89 in Woody Martinez, 89 potential, 97 in Woodrow Sheely. Then Gene Quinones, sorry, I suck at the ends with the tildes. Quinones is a 91 potential. He was on our board, was unable to get him. And the only other player that I feel like we really missed on here is Luis Armas. Looking at the hits per 9 and walks per 9, I'm actually kind of sad that I didn't get him now. 92 potential with those two traits. Would have been very, very nice in the future. Probably a Cy Young level pitcher. I might try to steal him back. We'll see if we can trade for him from the Royals. So we'll keep that in mind. Luis Armas was the player that we missed, but I think I can get him. Are you kidding me? Mike Trout broke his ankle. Should have known the injury bug was going to hit us eventually. Mike Trout gets hit with a broken ankle in what could have been an MVP season. It's going to be cut short. Will he be back in time for the playoffs? I can't put him on the 60-day list, so we'll have to keep him active and just see. I want you to see that when Trout went down, 35 home runs, 116 hits, 314 average, another 1,000 OPS season before he went down. He just crossed the 500 home run mark. This was an MVP level season. He's not going to get it though. So no other award for Trout here. It sucks for us in 2027. But with him being back in 3 to 4 weeks, we might have him back for the playoffs. That's, I guess, the most important part. And so with no Trout at September, we still are winning our division, 92-47 right now, meaning we still have a pretty good shot of winning 100 games. Maybe he'll be back with a week left or so. And if so, we need to get him some momentum back in there in that shot. And hopefully we can get him enough for a good playoff run where we can hopefully, win a World Series this year. And he's back with 1 week left. That's all we needed. Trout will be back. We're going to let him warm back up into the season. And hopefully he'll be good enough for the playoffs. Even with the injury, we go 108-54. That means over the last 2 seasons, we have seen a 28 win. I think we had 80 wins the first season. 28 win improvement to end up winning our division here in 2027. And honestly, I think we're in a really good spot. Losing that last game. Trout came back, meaning that we will have everybody back and healthy for this run here. Now, sadly, I don't think we're going to have any award winners, at least not the big ones, which is something that we did want to get as some of our goals. But I will take an AL Rookie of the Year for Trey Delahanty. It's what we wanted to see. Rookie of the Year for him. And we got an MVP. Anthony Santander wins the MVP. That's a shock. 288, 42 home runs, 122 RBIs. Anthony Santander wins the MVP in 2027. Did not expect to see that at all. Amazing trade for us, I guess, as he has a 911 OPS. Honestly, this was Trout's easy MVP had he been able to stay healthy this year. But, oh well. We do pull off an MVP from Anthony Santander. The National League MVP goes to Shohei Ohtani with 46 home runs, 299, 129 RBIs. I bet you that means the Cy Young is Yoshinobu Yamamoto of the Dodgers. And the American League, the Cy Young goes to Kyle Bradish of the Baltimore Orioles. I do see Tyler Holton was the runner-up in the reliever of the year. And it was funny, I even noticed there was a while there where Trout hadn't played for like 3 weeks and was still in the Hank Aaron Award race. This was his MVP season. He does not get it due to an ankle injury. For league leaders, there's a two-way tie at the top of the AL for batting average. Brent Rooker with a 311 and Corey Seager with a 311. Hits actually goes to Jonathan India with 203 hits for the Minnesota Twins. Luis Arias does end up with 200 leading off for us this past season. Doubles leader is Julio Rodriguez with 51. And triples leader is Bobby Witt, Jarren Duran, and Julio Rodriguez as a three-way tie at 11. Your home run leader is Aaron Judge with 46, with a three-way tie for second place between Corey Seager, Rhys Hoskins, and Anthony Santander. For pitching, Griffin Jax ends up having the most saves with 50 for the Minnesota Twins. The ERA crown goes to Kyle Bradish with a 2.46. Shane Bieber did come in fourth place, the 2.54. And strikeouts leader is Taj Bradley for the Tampa Bay Rays with 197. On the NL side, your batting average and batting title goes to Bryce Harper, hitting 326 this past season for the Phillies. He is also, no, he is not. Ahmed Rosario of the Mets is the leader in hits with 198. Doubles leader is Jake McCarthy of the Arizona Diamondbacks with 50. Triples, Shohei Ohtani with 12. And home runs, Shohei Ohtani with 46. Your saves leader is Devin Williams again with 49 saves for the Atlanta Braves. ERA leader is Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Los Angeles Dodgers with a 2.69 ERA. And your strikeout leader is Shohei Ohtani with 240, barely beating out Spencer Strider, who had 238. The only player they sent down for us is Brian Hoeing, who I think put together a pretty good season, 2.74 ERA, 104 whip in 62 innings. I will take that from him. Doesn't really deserve to be sent down. And so the actual rotation and bullpen has Jose Soriano with a 4.05, 131 whip in the bullpen. Not a good season again from him. Kohanowicz, very good. 2.59 ERA, 110 whip. Great season from him in the bullpen. He will continue to stay. He's been a fantastic pitcher. Didn't really know much about him before we started this. Very interesting player. Didn't really expect that. McGinsky, 2.88, 115 whip. Jason Foley, 105.99 whip for him. Brian Abreu was kind of a mediocre signing, 3.41 ERA, 1.29 whip for him. Ben Joyce, fantastic season, 1.29 ERA with a 1.27 whip. And Tyler Holton, again, a very good season, 1.9 ERA, 1.04 whip. Our starting rotation had Garrett Crochet at the top, 3.38 with a 1.09 whip. Decent season from him as our ace, where Shane Bieber was actually probably our ace with a 2.54 ERA and a 0.98 whip. We love to see that from him. John Means putting together a great season. Detmer's putting together a decent season with a 3.85 and a 1.32 whip. And Hancock, a great pickup for us with a 3.45 ERA. Our pitching rotation seems to have really put it together this season. And not even close, we definitely did. We were the #1 pitching team in all of baseball by a long shot. A 2.96 ERA on the season. 44 points above second place with the Dodgers. When it comes even to whip, I bet you that we were really high. I don't know if it has a whip. It does not. And we were also right up there in batting average with a third place in a 2.69 average, the third best offense, the first best pitching staff. If this is a World Series, or if we have a chance, this is the season. Fantastic year from us so far, 2027. And taking a look at that lineup, we can see Drew Romo didn't really do much as a backup catcher, but whatever, he was cheap. Verdugo was a decent in only 34 at-bats, so never mind. Grichuk, major regression from him, so I guess the Santander move was perfect. We kind of made the right call there. Santander replacing Grichuk. I kind of jumped the gun on that early. There was no reason to say that Grichuk was going to regress, but he did. 209 average. And Ryan Noda, very good, 277. And what was his on-base percentage? Because that's really what matters, 355. So not as good as the last two seasons, but Ryan Noda, another great season from him. And when it comes to our lineup, Luis Arias, I want to check his WAR again and see if he's got another negative WAR season. Nah, 0.2. Nothing real special from him. I guess it's because he's DH, but 21 home runs out of Luis Arias, though, as we are starting to get some power from him in the progression. So he is going to continue to get better. We'd like to see that. Brendan Rodgers, 270 average, a little bit back to normal with 173 hits this year, though 2.7 WAR means that he's still bringing enough defensive value that I think he was the right pick over Renifo. Mike Trout is, we'll come back to him. Logan O'Hoppe, 33 home runs as he finds his power. 275 average, 531 slugging, 857 OPS. Finally finds his way this season as he is now an 87 overall. Wow, okay. Shanuel, 251, 16 home runs. Santander was an MVP with 42 home runs and 122 RBIs. Trey Delahante had 35 home runs and 106 RBIs in his rookie season. Could honestly say could be in contention for that MVP from Santander. Zach Neto, kind of a down year for him, 243, 309 on base, and Blake Perkins was kind of a mediocre outfielder. Mike Trout is really the tragedy here because he had 40 home runs in 103 games, 125 hits, 323. He played 6 games and he got 3 more home runs than that. Wow. Look at this. Look at this dude. He came back on September. He hit a home run every game? Okay. 1,098 OPS. 5.7 WAR. This was an MVP year. He doesn't get it. He is regressing. But if he's regressing from an MVP level, that means he's still going to be very competitive. We have the Texas Rangers in the first round of the playoffs. This is the team that beat us last year after a blown save by Tyler Holton in Game 5, which was very disappointing. Hopefully our pitching staff is a little better this year. I mean, it's the best in the league. So let's see what we can do. Game 1, Crochet versus Kumar Rocker. We win that one 10-5. A lot of offense there. Not really what I want to see, giving up 5 runs, but okay. Shane Bieber versus Cody Bradford in game 2. We lose that one 2-3. Kohanowitz, I was just talking you up. What'd you do? Gave up a run. That maybe, yeah, that sucks in extras. But okay. Game 3, we are going to have John Means versus Tyler Melee. Can we pull this one off? 6-4 victory. We are up 2-1. Detmers versus Steve Shashin of the Texas Rangers in Game 4. We do pull that off. We will be going to the ALDS and taking on the Baltimore Orioles. If we win this, we will be going to the World Series for the first time in Mike Trout's career. And the first time since we won the World Series back in 2002, I think. 3, one of those. I'm blanking on it right now. So I guess Emerson Hancock is going to be the first pitcher, not Crochet. That's fine, whatever. Emerson Hancock versus Dylan Cease in game 1. Can he pull it off? 4-3 victory. We get a win with Emerson Hancock, meaning that we are going to have a little bit of extra room here against Baltimore. Kyle Bradish versus Garrett Crochet in game 2. We do lose that one. We are tied 1-1. Shane Bieber versus Grayson Rodriguez in game 3. We pull that one off. 8-0 victory. Dominant game for us. We are up 2-1 against Baltimore. John Means, the former Oriole, versus Dean Kremer in game 4. We pull that one off. We are up 3-1 against the Baltimore Orioles. We are going to have Detmers, Hancock, and I guess Crochet if we need them. Detmers in game 5 does not pull it off. We get absolutely crushed in this game, giving up 12 runs. Detmers only makes it 5 innings. So in game 6, my bad, Emerson Hancock versus Kyle Bradish. Can he get the victory? We do. We will be taking on the Dodgers in the World Series, meaning we have an all Los Angeles World Series. Crochet versus Ohtani, Bieber versus Sasaki, and Means versus Glasnow, as it truly is a pitching battle. The number 1 pitching staff versus the number 2 pitching staff. Let's hope we can do it. I do want to check and see who our postseason MVP has been so far. That is Anthony Santander, just continuing his dominance this season. Can we do it? The Dodgers are here. Garrett Crochet versus Shohei Ohtani in game 1 of the 2027 World Series. We pull that one off. 3-2 victory. Looks like a bullpen game. I have to look at it this way because it's broken. Actually, we win in extras, winning and scoring the game-winning run. I actually wish I could see the box score and see who scored that run for us. Santander? Maybe. That could be a Santander home run, maybe. We could say that. As we end up winning game 1. Game 2, Shane Bieber versus Roki Sasaki. We lose that one 2-3. Sad. Bieber put together a good performance, but we lose it anyways. Tied 1-1 going into game 3. John Means versus Tyler Glasnow. We get blown out in that one as Means cannot hold off the Dodgers' just war machine that they have. Game 4, we are down 2-1. Reed Detmers versus Blake Snell. I'm not really happy about it. Actually, let's change that. I think we are going to make sure that Detmers does not pitch, meaning we are going to do this. So, Detmers will not pitch for the rest of the postseason. Hancock will have game 4. And so, can he pull it off? He can. 2-2 series. Very glad we did that. Hancock has been dominant so far, as we are going to go game 5. Garrett Crochet versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Can we pull this off? This would be huge. Give me that 3-2 lead. We have it, meaning we're going to go to game 6. Shane Bieber versus Shohei Ohtani. I think we're going to jump right into that. The Angels are leading the Dodgers 3-2 as we go into game 6. We went 108 games. They won 107. So Los Angeles has been dominant either way. We are going to quick manage this game. Shane Bieber is going to be on the mound here against the Dodgers. We will be pitching in Angel Stadium. Shane Bieber has been dominant so far. Oh my God, Arias. Trout has been bad. And it's all Santander. Okay. All right, I'm not stressed out by seeing those numbers at all. Okay, first quick manage that we have seen so far. It looks like they've changed the outline a little bit, but okay. Kyle Tucker versus Shane Bieber in game 1. So they have picked up in. Do they have an infinite? They have an infinite amount of money because they got Pete Alonso, they picked up Jazz Chisholm, and Junior Caminero. How? Okay, I don't. Whatever. And Kyle Tucker. I just glazed over Kyle Tucker. Okay. Single. Double play. Ground out. Okay.
3. First base.
Hit by pitch for Mike Trout. That's what we need. Single. Then on first and second. Why is he standing in the outfield? Fly out. Okay. Pete Alonso, strikeout, ground out, and a ground out. Santander with a walk. Delahante
Take your base. Ball
with a
4.
walk. Sac Neto with a walk. Bases loaded. Okay. Nothing there. We're going to sac fly it.
Ball 4. Take your base.
1 run. He walks. I'm going to sac fly again. Strikeout. Mike Trout. Ground out. We only score 1 run with the bases loaded. Okay. All right. Shane Bieber gets through that.
3.
Hoppy, Shanuel, Santander gets nothing there. Tucker with a double. Betts with a fly out. Single ties the game.
He's safe.
Stolen base for Shohei. Another run scores as we go down 2-1 with a double play there. So sucks we weren't able to get it after Shohei Ohtani kind of fell apart in that second inning. We got nothing out of it. But we're still only a 1-run game. The problem is we only have 1 hit so far.
Take your base.
Kyle
Ball 4.
Tucker has been dominant so far. We have 2 outs. Pete Alonso, he pops up. Ground out. Walk for Shanuel. Ken Santander hit him in. Double play. Top of the 7th, we are going to make a pitching change. We have a great bullpen. We are going to take advantage of it. We're going to go to Jason Foley, who's going to fly out, ground out, double for Teoscar, walk for Caminero, 1 run scores, and we get a fielder's choice. We are now down 3-1. Delahante strikes out, strikeout for Neto. We are not doing very well here. We're going to go Ben Joyce in the top of the 8th, pop out, ground out, and another out. As we are now in the bottom of the 8th. Luis Arias gets a single. That's our first hit since the second inning, meaning Shohei Ohtani's for Jose Leclerc. Okay, Brendan Rodgers strikes out. Mike Trout, come on. Wake up, buddy. Wake up. Single. Men on first and second. For Logan O'Hoppe. Ground out. Men on second and third for Nolan Shanuel. This is the biggest at-bat of your life, Nolan. He flies out. Shouldn't have said anything. We are going to go off of him. We're going to go to Brian Abreu. Fly out. Ground out. Which means we are down to our last 3 batters. Our last 3 outs of Game 6. Anthony Santander. They're going to make a pitching change to Tanner Scott. Santander strikes out. Single for Delahante, meaning Zach Neto is now the man, and he gets a double play. All right. Well, player of the game goes to Shohei Ohtani, who only gives up 2 hits this game. I would have jumped in, but I normally only jump in on the last batter. So the Dodgers defeat us 3-1, meaning we have to go to Game 7. Sucks we couldn't capitalize in that second inning. John Means did get lit up against the Orioles, meaning he's got a 7.62 ERA as we go against Hiroki Sasaki. This might be a bullpen game. We're going to have to probably do that. That's okay with me if that's what's needed. Quick manage. We are still at home. I believe we won the All-Star game, so we are playing in Angel Stadium. John Means. Come on, Trout. Like, wake up, dude. Wake up. Okay. Can John Means get out of this? We get through the first. Rogers flies out. Hey, we got a walk from Mike Trout. And nothing else, a strikeout there. And solo home run from Will Smith, means we are down 1-0. Fly out, ground out, and another bad offensive start for us here. Come on, guys. Wake up. Wake up. Means is pitching all right, meaning I can continue to go off Means. Single. Mike Trout got a little offense. Logan O'Hoppe. Double play. All right. Okay, Nolan Shanuel. Single. Santander. Hit him in, buddy. Error. Okay. Men on first and second for Delahante.
3.
Strikes out.
3.
Strikes out. What is the point, guys? What's the point? Single. Pop out. pop out,
Ball 4, take
walk,
your base.
fielder's choice.
3.
Luis Arias, single, Brendan Rodgers, Mike Trout,
Take
come
your
on,
base, ball
walk,
4.
men on first and second for Logan O'Hoppe,
Ball 4, take your base.
walk, bases loaded. I need this sac fly. How do you hit into a double play? How do you hit into a double play on a sac fly?
3.
Yes, let's go. Delahunty. Delahunty. Oh, and a double from Neto. All right. I'm going to pinch hit. I want Verdugo. I don't know.
For the Angels, number 24.
Ground.
Alex.
Single. Let's go.
Verdugo.
We have the lead. 2-1. All right. Pitch and change. We are going to go to, it is the top of the 8th. We are going to go to Ben Joyce.
Pitching for
I
the
trust him.
Angels, number
Fly out.
34.
They're going to go Kyle Tucker.
Joyce.
You got to be kidding me.
3.
All right.
Now pitching for the Dodgers.
Trout,
number
respond.
26.
Woohoo! Let's go, buddy. He responded. All right. Mike Trout with the double. Ground out for O'Hoppe. Fly out. Fly out. Pitching change. McGinsky.
Now pitching for the Angels.
Single.
Number 51.
Single.
Garbage.
No control.
Leszczyński.
I should have never taken out John Means. All right.
Now
We're down
pitching
3.
for the Dodgers.
3.
Strikeout.
Ball 4, take your
Walk.
base.
Tanner.
Fly out.
Scott.
We blow the end of the game. We are defeated by the Dodgers. Well, we're going to go into this offseason. We're going to make a move quick. Soriano is going to go. Pepio is going to come in. I feel like he's the perfect guy to bring in here. Fix that last rotation spot. We said we were going to go all in here. Stephen Kwan, 20.6 million contact bat in the outfield. So our outfield is Santander, Kwan, Trout. All in? We have too many guys, though. All in. I need to make some room money quick as we are still a little short on some stuff. And so Brian Abreu is getting overpaid. We're going to make some money and get a prospect back in return. A very good prospect, that is, from the Tigers, JJ Rogers. Rogers. Detmer's got 16 million in arbitration. I don't have the money for him, so we're going to trade him for prospects. And he's been good, so we're still going to get something back. And that's going to be 2 really good prospects in Carlos Trejo and Joey Montañez, who thankfully won't cost us money for a while. It's a redemption season, 2028. I honestly don't see how we aren't as good as, or if not better than we were last year, unless we don't get the production from some of the guys that were kind of in the mid-tier that overperformed. We are ranked 2nd. Number 1 in contact, number 3 in pitching. I built my optimal team, especially in the pitching staff. I've got all the types of guys that I want. We have Garrett Crochet at the very top as our strikeout artist. We have Shane Bieber as a very, very particular, doesn't strike out a lot of guys, but doesn't let anybody get on base. Bailey Ober is the perfect high whip player. Pepio also the same, and John Means fits that same category. We have a lot of finesse pitching, but that's what I want to see. When it comes to the bench, I've got Emerson Hancock, who's cheap, who can fill in a role. Kohanowitz has been fantastic. Going to keep giving him the shot. And we had to bring up Caden Dana this year, so he will come up in the bullpen. Foley, McGinsky, Kraus is going to be here because he has the space. And Ben Joyce is going to be our setup man for Tyler Holton, who will continue to be our closer. We do have guys waiting in the wings, but I think this is a stacked pitching rotation. And the only thing better than our pitching rotation is our lineup, where we have 2 MVPs, Luis Arias with a batting title in the past, Stephen Kwan with a batting title. Or did he get one? He didn't. Okay, never mind. Stephen Kwan, a batting title caliber player. Honestly, this is a stacked offensive lineup. We have Christian Moore coming up in on the bench this season. We have other guys coming as well. The only thing better in our pitching staff is our lineup. Quick look at our big board as we look at this draft. Pitcher heavy. I do think we need to stack up a lot of pitching. Having a later pick also with pick 29 does mean that I'm not going to have a whole lot of options. And because I signed free agents, we're going to lose some picks too. So I think the big thing, let's see if we can get a really good pitcher at the very top. There are a few guys that I'd be interested in. I'd be wondering if I could get late. Brian Chang, Cesar Campaneras, Edmund Francisco. I don't know. I do think like the best player will probably be like Lee Gund. Maybe Darren Rivero. Probably honestly Lawrence Melvin though, starting pitcher. So we'll see what we get. 61 and 36. I think one thing I have to note, by the way, our pitching has not been that good. So we actually started off the season insane. We started off with only 5 losses in the first 2 months of the season, and we have been slipping since. The pitching staff has just struggled, but playoffs, that's what matters. Our all-stars are Luis Arias at first base. We also have Trey Delahanty at third, and then we have Santander in left and Mike Trout in right. No pitchers because our pitching staff has not been that good. How we didn't win 100 games is beyond me. I think we literally started off like 42 and 10, which means for the rest of the season we went about 50 and 50, which is very, very disappointing. Amazing start, but would have liked to see that actually turn into 100+ win season. 99 wins, we will take it. We win our division, and we'll be taking on the Tigers in the division series, meaning we don't necessarily get the wild card spot. Not a good thing to see. This should have been way better. But hey, didn't work out last year. Maybe this year it'll work out anyways. For the MVP in the AL, Vladimir Guerrero of the Twins wins the MVP with 41 home runs, 121 RBIs, hitting .348. Brent Rooker, second place with 44 home runs, 119 RBIs, hitting .326. And Mike Trout in third place, hitting .308 with 43 home runs and 120 RBIs. That regression isn't there yet. When it comes to the Cy Young in the American League, Max Fried wins that, going 19-3 with a 2.36 ERA, 157 strikeouts. I'd say Logan Gilbert deserves it more with the Rangers, 2.14 ERA, 174 strikeouts. But either way, very good for both of them. When it comes to the National League, somebody finally dethrones Shohei Ohtani as Ronald Acuna hits .332 with 46 home runs for 126 RBIs, finally taking it away from Shohei Ohtani. And the Cy Young goes to somebody that is not a Dodger for once. Freddie Peralta of the Brewers, 2.18 ERA, 245 strikeouts. Maybe he should have been the pitcher we went with instead of Garrett Crochet. Same free agency period, but seems to work out for the Brewers as they have a Cy Young winner. When it comes to league leaders, Vladimir Guerrero leads the league with a .348 batting average for the Twins. Fantastic season for him. He also leads in hits with 223. Luis Arias does come in second with 215. When we look at home runs, the leader was Brent Rooker with 44, with Mike Trout one behind with 43. RBIs goes to Vlad, and then Trout, and then Rooker. And actually Santander was right there in fifth. Arias with 102 RBIs is seventh. Yeah, we had a very powerful offense still. The saves leader is Yohan Duran, who gets 60 saves for the Yankees. Felix Bautista of the Twins comes in second with that, with 50. The ERA crown goes to Logan Gilbert of the Rangers with a 214. And the strikeout crown goes to Dylan Cease of the Orioles with 204. In the NL, Ronald Acuna wins the batting crown with .332 average, and he also has the most hits, hitting for 205. Matt McClain of the Reds with 204, one behind him as well. I've actually seen that a lot, so I wonder if that's something in the simulation. We're seeing a lot of times where the hits leader only wins by one hit. It's something that is a strange thing to notice. I look at doubles for the Reds. 47 for Ellie De La Cruz, 45 for Spencer Steer, 44 for Matt McLean. The Reds dominated in doubles this season. Home run leader is Ronald Acuna with 48 in the NL, followed up by 3 Dodgers. For pitching, Justin Martinez of the Diamondbacks leads the way with 53 saves. The ERA crown goes to Freddie Peralta with a 2.18, and their strikeout crown also to Freddie Peralta, as he didn't come away with a triple crown thanks to only winning 18 games, one shy of Roki Sasaki's 19, but very, very close. As I said, our pitching staff was very disappointing in relative to how much we are spending on them. Jack Hanowitz has finally a down year with a 5.08 ERA. Not something you want to see, mainly, though it looks like a lot of this could be in line with some bad luck. 1.35 whip for him means that I think that we technically are, we are not investing in our defense, so that is going to hurt us. When it comes to the major leagues, Emerson Hancock with a 3.18 ERA in the bullpen, 1.05 whip, fantastic whip. Caden Dana was terrible, but I couldn't send him down, so I stashed him. He was very bad in the beginning, and I stashed him in this third relief slot. That is a spot that nobody will ever pitch out of, and so it's a great place to stash somebody if you need to put somebody in the majors that you don't want to use, but you need to keep them up for contract purposes. McGinsky, 2.25, 1.17 whip. Hoeing with a 1.05 whip, 3.78 ERA. Ashby wasn't up very long. Foley had a bad year, actually regressed, meaning that contract looks not very good for us. Ben Joyce had a bad year as well, and his potential went down. And Tyler Houghton, his potential went up, 2.93 with a 9.3 whip. For our actual starting rotation, 3.76 with a 1.17 whip for Garrett Crochet. Comparatively, as you can see, it's actually comparative to his last couple seasons, but I think because of our defensive ability being worse this year, you'll see that fielding independent pitching means that he was pretty much on par with where he was at. And I think that's across the board. I think our defense was worse because as you look at our pitchers, they actually weren't that bad. We just didn't have any studs like I would have liked to see. Bailey Ober had a 3.03 last year, 3.92 this year. The 2.54 for Bieber last year, 3.72 for him this year. Pepio, 2.96 for him last year, 3.44. So across the board, our pitching was worse than it was last season. But maybe that won't necessarily matter when it comes to the playoffs. Lineup-wise, though, we were very good across the board. As a backup catcher, Drew Romo hit 256 in a very minimal appearance. Christian Moore hit 279 in a very minimal appearance. Ryan Noda, 257 with a 361 on base. I always have to check that because that's what he does. And then Blake Perkins, 205. Still walks a lot, but yeah, not very good there. When it comes to the lineup, Luis Arias hit 308 with 22 home runs, 102 RBIs, and 215 hits, as he is continuing to show a little bit of improvement, at least 1.4 WAR, as he gets better each season. Brendan Rodgers was still an amazing pickup for us out of a Rule 5 pickup, 328 average, 190 hits out of the second base position, with 5.7 WAR. Rule 5 pickup, Brendan Rodgers, amazing signing for us. Mike Trout put together a third place MVP this season as he regressed to an 89 overall. 127 games, he had 151 hits, 43 home runs, 120 RBIs for his third straight 1,000 OPS season as he continues to hold this line right here. 299, so he's slightly below 300 for an average. 403, so he's slightly above 400 for an on-base percentage. That'll continue to go down. It's hard to hold 400. And then 598 for slugging, slightly below 600, which we have been trying to get. And 1,001, slightly above 1,000 for OPS. He's not going to hold them, but I just think it's funny that he's been balancing this for a large section of this rebuild because of how good he was in the first half of his career and how he's kind of having a resurgence over the last several seasons for us here. So Mike Trout, third in the MVP. We'll still take it. He's been very, very good. And I'm happy to see that he's still playing well. Trey Delahanty had a little bit of a down year comparative. Actually, no, he didn't. There's a part where he was down. I think it's mainly those home runs and the power wasn't as high this year, but his OPS average is all very similar because on base was higher, his slugging went down. And so war-wise, 7 WAR as he's really, really good. Core member of this team, Santander, 38 home runs, 112 RBIs for him. Quan, 146 hits, 266 average. Not that good for a guy who I was hoping would hit over 300 for me. But we'll take it, whatever. Logan O'Hoppe, 24 home runs. He's getting a little expensive. Neto is very expensive for somebody who only hit me 23 home runs, hit 256, and only got me 2.3 WAR. And then Shanuel, no more B potential from him, though he's been very, very good, so I'm not that worried about it. It just sucks. That means his ceiling is not as high as it used to be. So our lineup across the board was very, very good, and we can see this with our average being number 1. We have the number 1 offense this year coming from Brendan Rodgers, Luis Arias, Trey Delahanty leading the way. Number 2 in runs, only behind the Dodgers. Number 1 in hits. More hits, it looks like, than anything because our power is down to 4th, but we'll still take it offensively. Pitching is where we had some struggles this year, and you'll see this with our ERA putting us in 6th rather than the first place that we easily held last year. We're going to run into the same teams. The whole point now is, can we actually make it back to the World Series? Because we're going to have a little bit of a longer road ahead of us. We have the Detroit Tigers in the wild card round. They also have an amazing pitching staff, but our offense should be way better. I think their main offensive weapon is just Riley Green, so we should be able to overpower them, but it is going to be a pitching battle to start. Crochet versus Scooball in Game 1 is a 10-2 victory as our offense overpowers them, just as I expected. Game 2, Bieber versus Jackson Jobe. We win that one. Our offense comes to battle. We do that. Emerson Hancock gets the win. Actually, if we look at this game, is this an extra innings game? We win in the 11th with a walk-off. That's what I like to see, guys. So, Minnesota Twins are next on the board. We have Bailey Ober from them. We have, I think Joe Ryan is somewhere gone. Pablo Lopez is gone. But they've replaced their whole team, essentially. McClanahan, Mackenzie Gore, Clark Schmidt in the rotation. Vlad Guerrero has been dominant for them. So they're a very, very good team. Honestly, a pretty good World Series favorite. But so should we. We should be too. Bailey Ober versus Shane McClanahan in Game 1. We lose that one 4-5, meaning that's a bullpen loss. All right, Pepio versus Gore in Game 2. We win that one 3-2. Caden Dana gets the win, meaning I think that we probably won that in extras. As we go to Game 3, John Means versus Clark Schmidt. We win that one. We are up 2-1 in this one. Garrett Crochet versus David Festa in Game 4. Please let us go. Garrett Crochet strained a bicep, but we are going to be advancing to take on the Orioles for a second straight season in the ALCS. Garrett Crochet is injured. Let me go fix this quick because I'm going to guess that this is wrong. Actually, wait, no, it is right because Crochet was just injured. So we should have Bieber, then Ober, then Pepio. And honestly, I love our pitching staff enough that I think it's okay if Crochet doesn't pitch for a while. Did dominate that game, but I think that was actually more Hancock than anything. So we took on Baltimore last year. It's the same team. Good pitching staff, good hitting. This should be kind of a shootout, I would think, but I don't know. They haven't given up any runs so far in the postseason. So Bieber versus Cease in Game 1. We take that one 5-3. Big win there for us. Game 2, Bailey Ober versus Kyle Bradish. We win that one up 2-0 now. Jason Foley gets that. Hoffman gets the loss. Pepio versus Grayson Rodriguez in Game 3. We do lose that one 3-4. We are still up 2-1. As Ashby gets the loss in that one. John Means versus Dylan Cease in Game 4. We win that. We are up 3-1 again, the second time in a row, as we have faced Baltimore twice and 2 3-1 leads in a row. Crochet versus Povich in Game 5. Give me the victory. Let's go. We will be taking on the winner of the Diamondbacks or the Braves in the World Series, and that will be the Diamondbacks. Bieber versus Burns for game 1. Ober, Pablo Lopez, game 2. So that's where Pablo Lopez is. Michael King. Okay, interesting team. Let's go take a look at how we're doing so far. As I take a look at the awards, Hoppy, 372, 3 home runs. Shanuel, 368, 333 for Santander has been the big key pieces for us. For them, McCarthy, Carroll, and Nathaniel Lowe. So actually it looks like they're main guys, and they brought in Lowe as their first baseman. So this will be a big one. Can we pull this off? The Diamondbacks. Interesting threat. I'd rather play them than the Dodgers, I guess. Bieber versus Burns in game 1. Maybe I shouldn't have just said that. We lose 5-7 as we go down 0-1. Bailey Ober versus Pablo Lopez in game 2. We win that one 11-2, getting our, I guess, feedback back. We are now going to play in Arizona for 3 games. It is 1-1 series. Pepio versus King. We lose that one 5-6. Okay, come on. Pull this off. Means versus Fott in game 4. We win that one 2-1. It is a 2-2 series. Crochet versus Pablo Lopez. We have our ace on the mound against Pablo Lopez in Arizona. Can we come on? No, we cannot. Tyler Holton? Don't tell me. Pain. Pain, Tyler. Pain. Blown save for Tyler Holton. 794. That means he's blown 2 saves. Okay. All right. Bieber and Ober, I guess. We have to quick manage. So let's go quick manage. Okay. I'm not happy about that, but I would have loved to have been up 3-2. Thank you so much, my closer. All right. Shane Bieber here in this game against Corbin Burns. Our back end of our lineup's good. Front half has not been. All right. They have anybody else? No. No, this team should not be the... Okay. All right. Coleman. All right. Bieber.
He's safe. 3.
I better see some offense. Okay.
3.
Never mind. Single for O'Hoppy.
Ball 4. Take your base.
Bieber.
ball four.
Bieber.
Ball 4. Take your base.
Bieber. We are down 3-0.
3.
What happened, Shane? Single for Trout. Fly out for Delahunty. Double play for Santander. Single, double. It's like if I manage, they're just worse.
Ball
So,
4. Take your base.
you know, bases
Take your base,
loaded.
ball
Yeah,
four.
let's just walk everybody. We're down 5-0 to the Diamondbacks.
Ball 4. Take your base.
Walk for Stephen Kwan. Single for O'Hoppy. We have men on the corners. Sack fly. So we get 1 run. Thank you, Zach Neto.
Take your
Walk.
base.
Men on first and second for Luis Arias. Fielder's choice. Men on the corners for Brendan Rodgers. Flies out. Okay, I mean, 1 run from all that. I hate it. Trout. Single. Okay.
3.
Strikeout. Single. Men on first and second.
3.
Strikeout.
Take your base. Ball
Walk.
4.
Bases loaded for Zach Neto. Dude. This is your shot. Let's go. 2 runs scored for Zach Neto. Men on first and second. Come on, Shanwell. Another run. We are down by 1 run. Pitching change. They're going to Matt Strom. We are now in the top of the 7th, down by 1 run. We are making our comeback now. Hancock gets that walk for Brendan Rodgers. A pitching change. They're going to Bryce Jarvis for Mike Trout. Double play, Mike. Come on. Single for Delahunty. And a fly out. All right. Hancock is going to have to come out just because I don't think I can go any longer with him. I don't know which pitcher to go with. They've been so inconsistent. I think we're going to go with a lefty. We're going to go with Ashby. Pop out. Ground out. Ground out. Okay. Bottom of the 8th. Stephen Kwan versus Caleb Ferguson. That's a double for Kwan. Okay. Come on, O'Hoppy. You've been great so far. Strikeout. Neto. That's a walk. Men on first and second. Pop out. Guys, we just have to get there. No! Not that, Cattell. Okay, we're down 2. They're going to Justin Martinez. He has a 7 ERA. That's a walk for Rogers. We're going to enter the game. We're going to enter the game. Mike Trout is up to bat. Brendan Rodgers is on base. We are down 2 in Game 6 of the World Series. We are going to make sure that we are just watching this one. We can watch as Justin Martinez pitches to Mike Trout. That strike is inside. 1-0 count. No outs here in the bottom of the 9th of Game 6 of the World Series. Mike Trout up to bat in his second World Series appearance. He was not good last time. Can he be clutch this time? That's the splitter inside for a strike. A little stressed out because I would hate to have to go another season because I don't think we have the money for this. So, come on, Trout. Be my savior. Hit me a home run. Okay, 2-2 count. I'll take it. Take it. Martinez is rattled. He's had a bad postseason. Great season. Bad postseason. 2-2 count to Mike Trout. He grounds that one foul. 3 or 2, still 2-2 count. Pitch would have been a ball, but all right. Big hit. Get down. And Trout hits that right into the gap. That means that I think we'll be able to get runners on the corners if he doesn't get to second. We have men on second and third for Trey Delahanty as Mike Trout gets a clutch double here in Game 6 of the World Series. This gives our new guy, Delahanty, a chance to get a walk-off. I want to see it. I hope we can see it. Mike Trout is getting lit here as he is putting it together. One of the greatest players of all time. They're going to pinch run Blake Perkins. I think that's for Brendan Rodgers. As we go to Trey Delahanty, as that pitch is outside. 1-0 count. Look at all those Angels fans getting lit as this is it. The rally towels are going. We're down 2 runs here in the 9th. With the pitch. Why are you swinging at that? Why are you swinging at that? Oh, okay. Just, all right. I don't know why he's swinging at that, but I'm not happy about it. Okay, 1-1 count. Delahanty, just get these guys in at least. Grounds that one foul in the dirt off the catcher. Which, by the way, if he does get out, we still do have Santander, I believe, on deck. I think it's Santander, then Neto. So, can he do it? I would prefer it to be Delahanty. Oh, that ball was right down the middle, man. Right down the middle. 1-2 count for Delahanty. Please, come in clutch, buddy. Big hit to the second baseman. That's a good sacrifice. We now have Trout on third base for Anthony Santander, last season's MVP, and probably one of our, clutchest moves we've made so far as he takes the pitch outside. 0-1 count in the bottom of the 9th here. Can he hold this together? Strike down low, takes a sinker low and inside. We can't have him strike out. You've got to hit this one out into the outfield, buddy. Oh, fouled off. I was really hoping I was going to see that camera switch and it was going to go to the outfield, but it didn't. So, what do we got? That ball is outside. 1-2 count for Anthony Santander here in the bottom of the 9th, Game 6 of the World Series. That pitch is going to go and ground infield. to Ketel Marte, meaning that it is all going to be new pitcher and everything. It's going to be down to Stephen Kwan here in the bottom of the ninth, and he's a good contact guy. Josh Stalmount versus Stephen Kwan for the World Series. To at least extend it to extras, we need Kwan to do it. The rally towels are going crazy here in Los Angeles, in Anaheim. Ball up, 1-1 count. Stephen Kwan. What are you swinging at? Oh, 1-2 count. We are down to our last strike. Stephen Kwan at the plate. He hits it. Is it going to be over his head? That's a home run. Walk-off home run. Stephen Kwan walks it off in Game 6. Let's go. Oh my God. Your World Series hero is going to be Stephen Kwan. Stephen Kwan. Game 6 hits a home run on his last strike as he celebrates. We're going to Game 7. We are going to Game 7. Stephen Kwan. After Mike Trout hit a double. Let's just watch this again. Beautiful swing. The Angels are going to Game 7, baby. Can we hold this one together? And so it's all down to this. To the heroics of Stephen Kwan. We're going to advance the day to Game 7 of the World Series. Fott versus Ober. Quick manage. I'm actually going to take off the City Connect ones. We are going to wear our main home jerseys for this game. Bailey Ober. Yep. Bailey Ober it is. Whew. Okay, guys. Let's see what we can do. Please give me an easy victory after that. Perdomo gets a single. Caught stealing. McCarthy grounds out. Arias with a double to lead off the game. Rogers pops out. Fly out for Trout. Triple for Delahunty to give us a 1-0 lead here in the first. Santander gets a single. We are up 2-0. Another single from Kwan. And we fly out there. Marte strikes out. Miranda strikes out. Candelario gets a double. And he grounds out. Meaning it's still 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. Shanewell gets a single. Men on the corners for Mike Trout, who gets a fielder's choice. Over walks, strikeout, single for Carroll, meaning that they have 2 men on. Double play, what we'd like to see there. Delahunty versus Fott here. 2 groundouts and a strikeout. We will continue to advance. McCarthy gets a double. Single for Ketel Marte, making it 2-1. Stolen base for Ketel, and we're down. Ober gives up a 2-run home run. Is Ober... Okay, Ober gets out of it, but we are down 1 run. I hate heroics. Can we stop that? Fly out. Single, and he gets thrown out. Single, men on first and second for Rogers. Fielder's choice. Pitching change. We are going to clean out the entire rotation. Pepio is going to come in. I don't know if I made the right decision. Pitching change. Woo! Thanks, Crochet. All right. Mike Trout. Strikeout. Error. Delahunty's on first. Strikeout for Santander. Single for Kwan. We have men on first and second for Logan O'Hoppe. Grounds out. Crochet. Pop out. Ground out. Ground out. Okay. Zach Neto. They're going to make a pitching change to Joey Wentz here in the bottom of the 6th. Strikeout. Fly out. Fly out. Crochet, line out, ground out, and a double for Marte. We are going to make the pitching change right here to go to a righty. I'm going to pull out We are going to go to Dana for 1 out. He gets it. Rogers versus Bryce Jarvis. Grounds out. Trout strikes out. Delahunty with a single. Come on, Santander. He grounds out. We will go back to a lefty for this. We're going to go to John Means. Single. Fly out. Fielder's choice. And a ground out. We are in the bottom of the 8th. Stephen Kwan. Single. Okay, come on. Logan O'Hoppe. 2-run home run. Logan O'Hoppe gives us the lead. We are up 4-3. Caleb Ferguson comes in, completely blows it. We now have the lead here in Game 7. Zach Neto grounds out. Strom. We have a walk for Shanuel. Strikeout. Single. Men on first and second for Mike Trout. As we get that strikeout, we are going to make the pitching change. We are going to go to Tyler Holton. Don't you dare, buddy. Corbin Carroll versus Tyler Holton. Strikeout. Single. And we're going to enter it. I can't have the double play. We got to see it happen. We got to see the celebration here in MLB 25 if we win this. So, let's go to observing. Tyler Holton against Jake McCarthy. The top of the 9th. We have come back now in 2 straight games. Don't let them come back. They have a man on first. One of the fastest players in all of baseball. Up to bat. He's been dominant. Pretty much all rebuild. Fouled off. 1-1 count.
You got to stay dialed in here. Look for anything in the dirt. Try your best to get in the scoring position.
He hits it up high. Is Kwan going to get there? He is. That is 2 outs here in the top of the 9th, meaning they are down to their last out, just as we were last game. Tyler Holton versus Ketel Marte for the last out of the game. Will we get it? Will we finally get this World Series with a pitch? Inside. Cutter. 1-0 count. Sinker outside. 2-0 count. But it's okay. Pitch around him. It's Ketel Marte. That's fine. He swings at something in the dirt. 2-1 count. Continue to pitch around him, Holton. That's fine. It's Ketel Marte. He has been crushing it tonight. Got to keep it out of his wheelhouse. 3-1 count. If it goes to Jose Miranda, it's Jose Miranda who has hit a home run tonight. But this is the danger we have. I keep throwing it low. Can we get through this? Tyler Holton with the pitch. Throws it low. That is a walk for Ketel Marte. We're going to Jose Miranda. Don't get too upset. That's okay. All right. New batter. Jose Miranda. Ooh, that scared me. But fouled off. 0-1 count for us. He has been better against lefties, or he's been better against righties than lefties. 1-1 count. As that ball goes slightly inside. Angels fans are still on their feet. 2 straight games they've been on their feet. They've had an insanely exciting World Series experience. Can it continue? Swinging and missing down to their last strike. Jose Miranda versus Tyler Holton here in Game 7. Can we do it with the pitch? He swings, gets down to the ground. Brendan Rodgers grabs it, throws it over to first. The Los Angeles Angels are World Series champions in 2028. 2 straight comebacks. We've done it. We are now finally World Series champions. That man, Mike Trout, is cheering because he is finally a World Series champion. Heroics of Stephen Kwan, of Logan O'Hoppe, of Mike Trout, and lastly of Tyler Holton. We are World Series champions once again.
Of course, it makes my mind just like a title. Tie that shit around my neck and say so. When is there some things on the surface die
Now let's
for?
go down to the field where they're set to present the Commissioner's Trophy to the World Series champs.
Let me give closure. Time for Victoria. I can't take all of this.
Singleton and our outstanding crew. I'm John Shelby. This has been the World Series on MLB The Show.
As he deserves it, Stephen Kwan gets the World Series MVP for his heroics of Game 6, and Logan O'Hoppe for his heroics of Game 7 gets postseason MVP. That is a great way to end an amazing run to the World Series. Now, that's not the end of our rebuild. We are actually going to have to probably deconstruct this team a little bit because it's too expensive. But Trout's still here. We're probably going to speed a little bit more through scouting as he's been regressing, so I don't know how much time he has left. But we are going to skip a lot of the scouting from now on. I mean, if you even noticed, I missed the the draft recap from this past season. We'll take a look at the players, at least, that we got. Almost all pitchers. But we are still going to continue to roll, see what we can do for Mike Trout, who I believe on our roster is not the third best player, but Mike Trout is at 552 home runs, 2,219 hits, averaging 299, over 1,000 OPS, and currently at 104 WAR as he is finally a World Series champion, 3-time MVP, and is that 15-time All-Star? Wow.
The sell-off begins now. We are going to be getting some prospects back in return. I'm talking to the Brewers to get Greg May, as we're going to move off of Ryan Noda and Blake Perkins. We're kind of pulling a little bit of a Marlins, but not necessarily to that extent. I just don't think we should be spending a lot of money on a lot of these big guys, because I want to sign some extensions for some of the younger guys now. So we actually have the money to get them now, and we can hold them for longer when Trout's contract gets cheaper. So want to try to save a little bit of money while continuing to be competitive. If you think about it realistically, your owner would go all in for a championship. We got that. Let's save some cash now. The big part of the sell-off is going to be Anthony Santander, who I know we do kind of have on a deal, but I want to make some room for some guys, and I think I've got some moves that will make this happen, because I do think we're still going to spend some money, but I want to make sure I'm spending it in the right places. And we signed Trey Delahanty to a 14-year, $25 million per contract. We will have him till he's 35. Honestly, I didn't save us a whole lot of money because I made a couple moves that I didn't think I was going to make. They were just too good of deals to pass up. So we are going to go into this season second ranked, first in contact, third in pitching, with a few adjustments to the roster. It is going to look a little different, but the core pieces are still there. And so as I look at this team, this is a pretty good chance, or a pretty good team to potentially run it back, and I'm glad that we got the big guys locked in under contract. In the pitching rotation, I let John Means go, and I actually intended on letting Ryan Pepio go, but we got him for 3 years, $45 million, and I really can't pass that up. It's too good of a deal. It's basically we sat all free agency, and nobody seemed to want him, so we got him for pretty cheap. Pretty nice to see. Hancock and Dana will be here in the bullpen as our long relievers. Hancock will probably be in this position soon. We somehow got Kyle Harrison out of the Rule 5. His last full season he pitched at a 3.96 ERA. He could be really bad, which is why I think it's okay that we have Hancock and Dana, and then we still have Kohanowitz, who I can bring up whenever we need to. But we've got pitchers waiting in the wings at this point, so that's kind of my reason for being patient and saying, it's okay if we get off of these guys. That means Bieber, when he's done, we can get off him. Hancock can go into the lineup. Dana can go into the lineup, and some of the other guys that can come up. Hoeing, Ashby, Bachman is going to be another reliever that we're going to bring in this year. We let go of Foley. We traded him away in a cash dump and a couple other guys. I was considering getting rid of Ashby as well, but $4 million is not actually that expensive, and his stats are too good. He also has another year of arbitration. I'm hoping we can get a good season out of him, out of the lefty, as Tyler Holton will remain our reliever as we signed him to a 3-year, $21 million deal. Our big move we made in free agency, I just didn't expect him to be available for what we got him for, and we just kind of made the bid because they asked us to make the bid, and we got Riley Green. It's a big contract. It is still going to be, 7 years, $210 million. It's a lot of money. But it is Riley Green, who is a very good player. He's been very close to getting some MVPs. Last season, 331, 425 on base. If he continues that level of production, he's going to be perfect for us in the outfield, especially as Trout ends up, eventually going to convert to a DH. We're going to keep Trout out here in the outfield for a little longer, but I could see him being a DH by next season. This is Arias' last year as well, so that does leave us room. Arias will probably be gone as well. I don't think I'm going to bring him back, even though he has been very, very good. We just have too many guys waiting in the wings. Delahanty got his extension. Brendan Rodgers has been, I don't think I could have made a better signing. That Rule 5 pickup allowed us to move and trade Renifo for Santander, which allowed us to then make the move for Quan for center field. All of those moves combined all come from this Rule 5 pickup of Brendan Rodgers being that consequential. Very nice to see. I could see Ohapi being somebody we can move off of. He's been very good, but $10 million for a catcher who I think we can replace in the aggregate. And then Quan is a little older. We're basically making room for guys. We have Nelson Rada, Braylon Payne, Christian Moore, some rookies coming up this year, and then next year we should see some more coming up with Richie Altman, JJ Rogers, and then probably I think it's Jungwoo Park as well could be coming up very soon, and Bobby Cabral. So we've got a lot of young guys coming. And so I think soon Arias will be gone, Rogers will be gone, Ohapi will be gone, Quan obviously is going to not be here forever, but this will make some room for our guys as we continue to move into the future and try to continue to have a good team around Mike Trout. But this year we are still going to be very competitive. I have a faith that in the middle of this lineup right here with Green, Trout, and Delahanty, that we could make it back and win another World Series. Can we make it to 3 in a row? We lost the first one in Game 7 to a blown save. We won the second one in Game 7. Can we not have some fireworks? Can we go to the World Series and just sweep them, please? At the All-Star break, we find ourselves 56-40, not leading our division. The Mariners seem to have finally put it together, but we are still, I want to say, yes, leading the wild card race, which makes sense. Not as good of a season I would have liked to see. Our offense is fantastic. Honestly, I think we're just getting some bad luck in close games because we have one of the best offenses in the league, one of the best pitching staffs in the league. It just, sometimes the ball doesn't go your way. And so we will look at our All-Stars quick. Luis Arias is once again an All-Star at first base. We also have Trey Delahanty as an All-Star at third base, having a career year from himself, hitting .332 with 18 home runs thus far. A couple stolen bases as well. And then we have no Mike Trout for the first time in the All-Star game. Sucks to have him missed, but yeah, we're still competitive. In September, we are 80-55, still leading the way with one of the best offenses in the game and one of the best pitching staffs in the game. I'm pretty confident that we will win our division, and our division's tough. I can't say that. The Mariners have been very, very good this year as we look around the league. We are one of the top teams. The Diamondbacks are the other. Are we going to be looking at a possible rematch in the World Series? I would love to see it, but first we have to get there. 94-68, we win our division, and we will be taking on the winner of the wild card, meaning we do get that bye. That hurt us the first time, didn't hurt us the second time. I can't say that. We went to 7 games in the World Series both times. But I did see some major aggression throughout this season, so we'll see where we're at. I don't know if this team is as good as last year's. Your MVP this season goes to Brent Rooker of the A's. which, by the way, if you have not played this game yet or do not have it, they no longer have a team location. So whenever you like go into or like look at a game of theirs, it says Athletics. It does not say Oakland. It doesn't say Sacramento. It doesn't say Vegas. It just says Athletics. Anyways, Brent Rooker with the MVP, Kerry Carpenter, and Vlad in second and third. On the NL side, Yordan Alvarez of the Diamondbacks. That's nice. He signed there this offseason. Wins the MVP for the Diamondbacks. Yelich in second place. And Shohei in third. Cy Young on the NL side goes to Hiroki Suzaki as the Dodger dominance returns. Snell and King were the two runners-up. George Kirby wins it for the Yankees. On the AL side, going 22-4 with a 1.97 ERA. Dominant season from him. Cease and McClanahan were second and third. Taking a look at our pitching staff, Emerson Hancock had a 3.98 ERA, 1.16 WHIP in the bullpen this season. He could be a starter for us next year or in the very soon future. I did believe I signed him to a pretty cheap deal, 5 years, $55 million for a pitcher, which would be our fifth or sixth starter whenever we need him. Caden Dana, even better season, 3.67, 1.57 WHIP. A small sample size, but very good. Kohanowitz came up, pitched 13 innings, didn't give up a single run. Brian Hoeing, 2.86, 1.13 WHIP for him in a relief role. Aaron Ashby, good investment to keep him, 2.29 ERA for him. McGinsky, 3.94, 1.26 WHIP, a little bit of a down year. Ben Joyce going down as well, 4.19 ERA, 1.26 WHIP. And Tyler Holton with a 2.72, 1.13 WHIP, and a decent amount, 47 saves. Our pitching rotation was led by Garrett Crochet with a 3.4 ERA and a 1.14 WHIP. Only pitched 185 innings, had 185 strikeouts in those innings. So very good season from him. Bieber, 3.59, 1.18. We had a 2.71 from Pepio, a deal of a contract, and even better when you consider the production he just gave us this season. Bailey Ober, not looking as good, 4.36 with a 1.26 WHIP. And for a Rule 5 pickup, Kyle Harrison was not too bad, 4.18, 1.37 WHIP. I do not believe we will be bringing him. Actually, he has arbitration. Maybe we will be bringing him back. Might trade him, though, if needed, because I think that we've got other guys that could be taking that spot. When it comes to the lineup, I like to see in the small sample size, Nelson Rada was pretty good. Drew Romo in his small sample size was pretty good. Christian Moore in his was not. And Braylon Payne in his small sample size was not that good either. But these are some of the guys that could be coming up on top of Altman next season. As we look at our actual lineup, Luis Arias put together another decent season, 285, 200 hits. He's already at 1,800 career hits, 22 home runs. Is he a positive WAR player? He is, but barely. A 1.1 WAR. He will be gone at this season. I do not intend on bringing him back. Brendan Rodgers, 22 home runs, 299 average for him. Very good season for our deal second baseman. Our big pickup this offseason, Riley Green, hit 28 home runs, a 316 average, 197 hits for a 923 OPS. A little bit down from last year, but still fantastic. Ends up getting 7.6 WAR. Now, we have a major regression from Mike Trout. I'll come back and take a look at him in a second. But Trey Delhanty, 299, 27 home runs, 101 RBIs. He is kind of settling out at this mark here. 880 OPS again. I mean, so far his rookie season was his best year, but I guess not defensively. Offensively was his best year, and we want to see that continue to progress. We did sign him to a major extension. He will be the franchise face for the rest of time for us, and I hope that he can continue to lead us to the promised land and potentially get into an MVP race. Zach Neto put it all together this year. 272, 320 on base percentage, 30 home runs, 168 hits. It's still a 781 OPS, and the WAR is a 3.8. I don't think he's a $20 million shortstop. I think that could be somebody I would be willing to move off of for something cheaper. Shanwell, 21 home runs, 264 average, and a 351 on base percentage. Still decent at first base. Quan, 8 home runs, 286 average, very good from him as our third outfielder. And Ohapi, 24 home runs this season, continues to show the power as he hits for a 774 OPS. and pulls in a clean 3.8 WAR. The big thing is Mike Trout has some major regression. He is down to an 81 overall. Played 124 games this year, 126 hits, 24 home runs. We finally see him really dip here. His 345 OBP, 266 average. His OPS finally under 1,000. And from WAR, he only pulls in 1.9. I think we will be moving him to the DH role next season, and we will just see what else he can do for the rest of his career, hoping that we can get him to some of the metrics. Now, we hit him at 500 home runs. He's at 576 right now. I believe we'll easily be able to get 600. 3,000 hits does not seem possible, sadly, just simply because of the amount of time he has spent injured. He has not played enough games, but we do have him over 100 WAR already, and so can we get him to 110? That's the goal there. And then can we get him to 600, 700? I don't know if he'll play long enough to get to 700 home runs. We are going to focus probably a lot more on power here for him, and just hoping that he can just crush the ball for about 4 or 5 more years and just chase some records while we are still contending. We are not going to sacrifice our victory window if needed. He will go to the bench if he is not good enough, but we're not, it's not Miguel Cabrera for us. We'll Albert Pujols him instead if needed. We have the Detroit Tigers in the first round. They are going to be running Weathers, Detmers, and then Skubal, as they must have just, they just went through the wild card round. So, Crochet versus Weathers in game 1. We get a 4-3 victory. Thank you, Garrett Crochet. Shane Bieber versus Reed Detmers in game 2. We pull that off as well. Big lead. We are up 2-0. Pepio versus Skubal in game 3. We do lose that one. Pepio gets blown up. Bailey Ober versus Jackson Jobe in game 4. We win that one. We will be taking on the winner of the Orioles and the Mariners. Are we going to continue to ruin the Orioles' hopes? No, the Mariners will this time. We will be facing off against our division rival, the Seattle Mariners, in the ALCS. Kyle Harrison's going to start game 1. We're going to run it. Honestly, our pitching staff has been decent all year. Or do I? No, Crochet played on the 7th. He can play on the 15th. We are going to make a quick pitching adjustment as we go Crochet, Bieber, Pepio, over. Crochet versus Reagans. Gets the victory. Good move for us. Then we're going to go Bieber versus Brian Wu in game 2. We win that one also 4-3. We are up 2-0 as we go to Seattle. Ryan Pepio versus Bryce Miller. We pull that one off. We are up 3-0 against the Seattle Mariners. Bailey Ober versus Bryce Miller in game 4. We do lose that one. And then we have Harrison versus Reagans in game 5. And we win that one, and we will be taking on the winner of the Diamondbacks or the Phillies. We will be taking on the Diamondbacks. We have a rematch against the Arizona Diamondbacks in the 2029 World Series. No redemption, please. They have advantage this time, home field advantage. They were also the better team this season. So, can we do it again? Pablo Lopez is getting the bump on the first game against Crochet. Then it will be Burns, then Fat. So it is about the same team. I know they added Yordan Alvarez and they lost Ketel Marte. So they made that swap. Game 1. We lose that one 1-4. Game 2. We win that one 5-3. It is a 1-1 series going home into LA. Can we just clean this up? Give me 3 straight victories. Pepio versus Fat in game 3. We win that one 6-0. Bailey Ober versus Michael King in game 4. We lose that one. It is a 2-2 series. I am very confident that I think if we go Crochet, Bieber, yes, Crochet, Bieber, and then Ober for the rest of this, I think we can do this. So we are going to switch it to go Crochet, Bieber, Pepio, not Ober. Okay, game 5 against the Diamondbacks. Garrett Crochet is taking the mound versus Pablo Lopez. We win that one. We are up. We are going to go into game 6. Let's get ourselves a quick manage as well for this one. Bieber has been dominant thus far against Crochet, or not against Crochet, against Burns. We are going to quick manage this one. On the NL side, Mookie Betts led the way with a 307 batting average, Xavier Edwards with a 304, and James Wood had a 301. So 3 guys over 300 on the NL side. Hits leader was Christian Yelich with 185. Marlins got some guys up there, though, so very interesting to see that start to play out. The home run leader is Mookie Betts with 38. Seems like a down year on power across the league. Santander did have 34, which put him in 5th in the NL. So still down year on power in regards to the NL. Usually that means that there's a conversion to pitching stats. Carlos Estevez had a 52 save season for the Pirates, which means they were pretty good this season. Interesting to see that. The ERA leader is Spencer Strider with a 2.76. Tobias Myers in second place with a 2.78. And your strikeout leader is also Spencer Strider of the Atlanta Braves with 237. On the road against the Diamondbacks. Can we pull this one off in Chase Field? I think we've got a good shot. Bieber, we've got Arias is hitting well. Rogers is hitting well. Green is not. Trout is not. Delahunty is not. So few of our guys are hitting well. Some are not. As we go into this game, looking for another win. Any other changes? They also brought in Nolan Gorman and Pasquantino. So kind of a halfway a completely different team here. They also lost Jake McCarthy as well. Mena on first and second, and they get out, or we get out of this. Solo home run from Mike Trout gives us a 1-0 lead here in the second inning. That's a great way to get it started, Mike. And then we give it right back as Del Castillo gives up a home, or gets a home run himself. And we are tied 1-1. Stephen Kwan flies out, ground out, and another out. Bieber does make it through that. Double from Brendan Rodgers. And a single hits him in. Riley Green. And a double play from Mike Trout to end that run right there. Fly out. We are going to the top of the 5th. We are up 1 run. 2-1 single from Stephen Kwan, single from Logan O'Hoppe, and a pop-up from Luis Arias. Mena on first and second. We are going to make the pitching change right now. I think I'm going to go to Ashby because they've got a bunch of lefties here. Fly out, fielder's choice. Good move. Ashby gets us out of that one as we go to the top of the 6th. Brendan Rodgers grounds out. Riley Green with a single. A walk from Mike Trout. Men on first and second for Delahunty. Flies out. Zach Neto. Fielder's choice. We'll continue with Ashby. He gets out of that. We get 2 good innings, or at least 5 outs out of Ashby to continue to go to the top of the 7th. Hit by pitch for Stephen Kwan. Line out and fly out. We are still up 1 run. We are going to make the pitching change here to a righty in the bottom of the 7th. I think we are going to go hoeing.
Now pitching for the Angels, number 78.
Should not have done that. We tie the game up. Okay, top of the 8th. Brendan Rodgers up to bat against Bryce Jarvis. Single from Brendan Rodgers. Okay. A walk. Men on first and second for Mike Trout. Do not hit into a double play, Mike. Flies out. Flies out. 1 run scored. We do score and take the lead off of, I don't know what happened, but Zach Neto. Pitching change in the bottom of the 8th. Oh, I don't have a whole lot of lefties. I want a lefty, and I want to save. No, I'm not going to save Holton. We're going to go to Holton now against the lefties. Ground out, strikeout, fly out as we go to the top of the 9th here.
Now pitching for the Diamondbacks.
Ground out, strikeout, fly out. We are going to go lefty here. Tyler Holton, get this out, okay? And we are going to make a pitching change. We are going to go to Ben Joyce or McGinsky. I think McGinsky's better.
Now pitching for the Angels.
Ground out. Let's enter the game and see if McGinsky can get us another back-to-back World Series against the Arizona Diamondbacks here in Game 6. You're going to jump here. team select, and watch this one.
John Shelby and Chris Singleton as we've got 2 away in the ninth.
2 away in the bottom of the ninth for Carmen McGinsky against the Diamondbacks.
Fitzgerald.
Swinging strike up and in. Four-seam fastball. That's a good start. Lets that ball fall a little low. Ball 1-1-1 count here in this one. We are still up 3-2. Tyler Fitzgerald has it on the line. He's a 186 hitter. He fouls that one off. Down to their last strike. Can we pull off the back-to-back World Series? I would say for the first time, but the Dodgers got one. They fouled that one off. The Dodgers got one recently, so we don't get to claim that. But LA dominance with this last pitch. Come on, Carmen. He throws it. Ooh, just misses inside. 2-2 count. Can he finish it? Can he finish it? I see those Diamondbacks fans with that rally towel. It's not going to matter this time, guys. Come on. With the pitch. Makes good contact. Foul. Still 2-2 count.
Wasn't an easy pitch to hit. It's much easier to do damage against mistakes, but that's not what that pitch was.
Swinging strike. We win back-to-back World Series here in LA. We've made 3 in a row. We've won 2 of the 3, taking out the Diamondbacks for a second straight year. Mike Trout jumping around again. He is a 2-time World Series champion in his career. I think we've done a pretty good job of making him a legend. 2 in a row. Can we make it 3?
Out here dancing to Fleetwood and you know you're bad. Keep playing how I thought my dreams would and I'm not too mad. I hope you see I'd be the best thing that you ever had. You ain't even gotta like me back. We saw what happened when I got attached.
Back-to-back World Series MVPs for Steven Kwan. He did hit like 400 almost in the postseason. And playoff MVP goes to Luis Arias. So some team is going to be getting a playoff MVP in free agency this year as Steven Kwan wins back-to-back World Series MVPs, just as we do. Do you think he gets 3 in a row? Going for our 3-peat, it is 2030. We are still one of the best teams in all of baseball. And I want to say one thing. I have not really intended on signing a lot of free agents, and if you've watched any of my rebuilds in 24, I don't normally go very heavily in free agency. But I think with the new free agent system, it actually does motivate you to sign individual players and target guys, so we have made more moves again. This one was actually kind of funny this offseason. There were 3 95-plus or 94-plus pitchers on the market this offseason. There was Paul Skeens, Jared Jones, and Spencer Strider all on the market, and I targeted all of them thinking, you know what, let's just get an ace, and then I don't have to worry about complex pitching for a while. Paul Skeens went to the Mariners. Spencer Strider went to the Mariners. And so Jared Jones was our only thing we could get, and we got him for pretty cheap. He kind of sat there for a little bit longer, meaning I got enough interest that I could lower the offer down to $28 million a year, which is amazing for a 95 overall pitcher who had his best season last year. Now, I don't think he is normally this high, meaning that he has progressed to this level, but the Pirates had a really good season last year, and I think that is part of it. We should be able to get him into Cy Young conversations if he continues to play that well. The other pitcher we did this with was Brian Wu, who once again got that $15 million whatever contract that seems to be something in this game, that we got $60 million for 4 years of Brian Wu, who has also been a phenomenal pitcher these last couple of years, has the stats I like. And so Caden Dana's going to move to the starting lineup. Hancock, I traded away Shane Bieber. I traded away Bailey Ober.
we are making moves. Pepio and Wu are our cheap ones. Our aces are Jones and Crochet. So we have 2 value pitchers, 2 great pitchers, and then a bunch of young pitchers on the way. We also moved some relievers, and we got Porter Hodge from the Cubs as well, and I signed him to an extension. So we made some moves, and Holton will no longer be in the closing role because Porter Hodge is just a better reliever. So we will have a better pitching staff this offseason. I also signed Ashby to an extension as well. And because we spent all of our money on the pitching staff, we did not decide to spend anything on the lineup. The only thing that we really did was we made a trade for Ryan Clifford. That was Shane Bieber. We traded away and got Ryan Clifford back in return, a first baseman, because Shanuel and Arias were both free agents. I figured I'd rather have a guy with a couple years of team control that is still going to be very cheap at first base. And because of this, we also are going to be doing some platooning a little bit with a few guys. Christian Moore and Richie Altman are my 2 young prospects that I want to have up this season. So those 2 are going to platoon, though differently. It's Mike Trout as the DH and Christian Moore as the DH and Altman as right field as the alternate. Next season, this will just be Trout in the DH, but because Christian Moore can only play second base, and I want to give him a shot at to play, we will let him run this season at DH. See if he can perform well, see if he's worth spending our time on, or if Brendan Rodgers is going to be out of this team in 2031, which I think he will be. I think he'll start to progress by then, but man, we have really created a fantastic career for Brendan Rodgers thus far in LA, so I'm pretty satisfied with what we've done with him, and I don't want to give up on him just yet. Rada's going to be up. Altman's going to be up. We traded away Romo as well. Cabral is going to be up, and then we have room for Jungwoo Park, and I guess Braylon Payne is going to go back down this season. We have a lot of space. We have some pitchers that will be on their way up. We're probably going to run real quick through this season and move straight into the postseason with a little bit of any updates if we need to, injuries, all that. I think this team could contend to potentially get a 3rd straight, and I hope that we do. At the All-Star break, we are 62-34. Still very, very dominant this season, up 10 games on the Seattle Mariners, who do have a much better pitching staff now. Our offense has dipped a little bit, but our pitching has improved. I think a lot of that is to do with, I think that Clifford was not as good as Shanuel. I think that Moore is not as good as Arias, and obviously Trout is not as good as what Trout was. But we do have a couple All-Stars. Garrett Crochet is going to be the All-Star starter for the Angels. 2.22 ERA, 1.17 WHIP. Jared Jones is also an All-Star with a 2.89 and a 1.11. Amazing start for us there to have that. I also believe that we probably have some more. Nolan Shanuel is a All-Star for the White Sox. I feel like we might have made the wrong move on not keeping him. It was a money-saving attempt, but it ends up kind of backfiring here. Delahunty, a little bit of a down year, but still an all-star at third base. And then we do not have Mike Trout, as he has regressed beyond an all-star caliber player. 107-55, I'd say the three-peat chances are right there for the taking, as we put together one of our better seasons besides that 108-64 one, or 54 one, that we lost to the Dodgers. I don't know if we had any award winners, but I think this team is more pitcher heavy now, so maybe Cy Young contention? The AL MVP goes to Vlad Guerrero once again. This is only his second. It feels like he's had more. Maybe he has been in contention more. Maybe I'm wrong. It feels like he's had more than two. But Vlad Guerrero, another amazing season for him. He has been phenomenal the last several years. Just dominant first baseman for the Twins. Jason Dominguez finishes second, and Trey Delahanty finishes third with 40 home runs. You love to see that. When it comes to the Cy Young, oh, just short. Honestly, we deserve this more. This is... in a Cy Young race, what do you value more? 2.92 ERA with 229 strikeouts, or 2.01 ERA with 210 strikeouts. I think Crochet deserves that. I don't see a world where Paul Skeens deserves that Cy Young over Garrett Crochet. That sucks to lose. So, most valuable player for the NL side is Shohei Ohtani, who comes back to it. This is now his seventh. That's crazy. And the Cy Young, Tyler Glasnow, who wins another one, this time for the Reds. Right? No, he didn't win one before. Second places. So, that's the award winners. We came just short of both the Cy Young and the MVP from Delahanty and Crochet. For league leaders, your leader in batting average is Vlad Guerrero, who has once again been dominant all season 3, or all franchise 350 average this season. He also led the way with 221 hits this season. Several guys hit over 200. Vlad, Julio with 214, and Sam Sestero, a 78 overall second baseman for the Baltimore Orioles, hits 212 hits on the season. That's great for him. When it comes down to others, 61 doubles for Julio Rodriguez and the Seattle Mariners. Amazing season for him. And then home run leader is Jason Dominguez with 43 for the New York Yankees. Your saves leader is our Porter Hodge with 56 saves on the season. Great move to go bring him in. A fantastic reliever. You'd love to see that. Our ERA crown goes to Garrett Crochet, with the number 2 being Jared Jones at a 2.79. And the strikeout crown goes to Oscar Guillen with 277 strikeouts. This guy is a rookie? And he didn't win Rookie of the Year. Wow. Insane season for a rookie pitcher. On the NL side, Yordan Alvarez of the Diamondbacks leads in batting average with a 338. Jose Miranda of the Padres has 205 hits to lead the way there in the hits department. Home run leader is Anthony Santander of the Phillies. We let him go, and he's still doing very well, creating a lot of power. We'll take Riley Green, I think. But Santander, very good for the Phillies. Your saves leader is Chris Bubich, who I didn't even know. I thought he was a starter. I guess they must have made him a reliever in this game. 52 saves for the Rockies. Great season from him, and the Rockies getting 52 saves mean the Rockies must be pretty good. Your ERA crown goes to Joe Ryan of the Braves, and your strikeout crown, 197 strikeouts for Shohei Ohtani and Roki Sasaki. The game sent down Tyler Holton, who ended up getting a 2.1 ERA, 0.99 whip. Doesn't really deserve to be sent down. And the rest of our bullpen looks like Emerson Hancock with a 2.49 ERA, 1.2 whip, 3.83, and a 1.33 for Cade Horton. Ashby with a 2.73, Hoeing with a 2.54. I think Trejo's the reason they sent him down. We'll have to make that swap. And then we see McGinsky with a 4 ERA, 1.32 whip, Ben Joyce 2.25, 1.12 whip, and Porter Hodge with an amazing relief season ends up pulling away with 2.89, 1.13. Our pitching rotation goes as 2.79 and a 1.09 from Jared Jones. Garrett Crochet with a 2.01 ERA and a 1.03 whip should have been the Cy Young. Pepio down to a 3.85, 1.29. Brian Wu, major regression. He is only 30 years old. That's some bad regression. This contract is going to look horrible if this is what we're going to see out of him. And then Caden Dana, 4.4 and a 1.45. So the top end of our pitching rotation, still very good. But those value deals are not working out for us right now as well. For us this season, Richie Altman in his rookie year had 6 home runs, 268 average. Love to see that platooning. JJ Rogers, 274 and 6 home runs. Also platooning. I think he's going to be our starting catcher. We're going to move off of Logan O'Hoppe this offseason. Bobby Cabral, 268 and 3 home runs. And Jungwoo Park did not play. That was actually supposed to be Nelson Rada, who 213, not very good for him in his 55 appearances. In the actual lineup, we have Brendan Rodgers with a 292 average, 6 home runs, a little bit of regression, but not too bad. Still 169 hits for him this season as he puts together another 3.8 WAR season. He will remain at second base. Riley Green, 290 average, 372. His potential goes down. That's going to hurt. This contract might look terrible very soon, as B potential is not what you want to see from Riley Green. Trey Delahunty in third for the MVP race. Mike Trout has now regressed down to a 74 overall, but he has hit that 600 home run mark with 24 homers this year, 780 OPS, or 780, and 1 WAR this season. He will be our full-time DH next year as Altman will move into the other outfield spot. Quan with 22 home runs, 270 average, 259, and 20 home runs from Logan O'Hoppe, who has been phenomenal for us. I just feel like Rogers will be better. Zach Neto had a great year last year, did not have a good year this year. 719 OPS. We will be moving him in the offseason. Clifford, I think we made a mistake on making the move for Clifford over just sticking with Shanuel. And Christian Moore, 237 average, 298 on base percentage. Nothing real special. He will remain on the bench. As we seek out our three-peat, we have the Kansas City Royals, Ryan Nelson, Shane Bieber of the Royals. I guess, did I not trade Bieber for Clifford? No, I must have traded Ober for Clifford. I already forgot. And Bieber, I must have got some prospects in return. But the Royals are here. We are going to be taking them on in the first round. We win Game 1 4-2. Game 2, Crochet versus Shane Bieber goes our way. 6-0 victory as we get a complete game shutout from Garrett Crochet. Pepio versus Clark Schmidt in Game 3 is a loss. And Brian Wu will take on Jose Barrios in Game 4, and we win that one. And we will be taking on the Orioles once again in the ALCS. The Orioles have, looks like the same team. Actually, let's go switch this out and make this Jared Jones instead of Caden Dana. I kind of want to go back to the lineup. It's been another week. I think we'll be okay like that. We are going to go Jared Jones versus Dylan Cease. Can we continue to dash the hopes of the Baltimore Orioles? We win 6-5 in Game 1. Game 2, Garrett Crochet versus Cade Povich. We win that one 6-5. We are up 2-0 as we head into Baltimore. Pepio against Cody Bradford in Game 3. We win that one. We are up 3-0. Cade Horton gets the W. Brian Wu versus Adam Meyer in Game 4. We get the sweep, and we are taking on the Dodgers. We have the Dodgers. We are going to reset this lineup quick and see if we can get our vengeance, I guess. I mean, it's the same pitching staff as usual. It's the 3 Japanese pitchers in Roki Sasaki, Shohei Ohtani, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So let's go back to our lineup and move Jared Jones to the top, then Crochet, then Pepio. And I'm willing to go Dana over Wu for that last one. I don't mind. Okay. Jared Jones versus Roki Sasaki in Game 1. We win that one 3-2, taking a lead over the Dodgers here in LA. Crochet versus Shohei Ohtani in Game 2. We win that one 12-4. We are up 2-0 as we head across the city to the Dodger Stadium. Pepio versus Yamamoto in Game 3. We lose that one 2-3. Ashby seems to get the loss. We will go Caden Dana against Blake Snell in Game 4. Please get us the lead. Get us a 3-1 lead. We win that one. We have a 3-1 lead, taking on the Dodgers, looking to repeat. In fact. Brian Wu versus Roki Sasaki in Game 5 in Dodger Stadium. We win that one. 3 champions in a row. 3 championships in a row. The Angels. When's the last three-peat? Oh, well, of course. Okay, then 1998 to 2000 Yankees. The last 4-peat hasn't been done since the 50s. We went 4 in a row? Your World Series MVP is Brendan Rodgers and breaks up the Stephen Kwan run. And also the playoff MVP is Brendan Rodgers. He hit .478 in the playoffs, or in the World Series, and .380 in the postseason entirely. Mike Trout even doing very, very well this postseason. I guess 4. Can we do 4? As we go for the 4-peat, we are still one of the top teams in baseball. We did not make a whole lot of moves. The one thing we did do is we've saved a lot of money. We are now 59 million under, and we made some moves in order to sell some guys off, and we will continue to do that as we are going to start moving to save some cash, knowing we have big contracts like Green, Jones, and Delahanty racking up most of our money. And as long as we continue to contend, that's okay. But as soon as we're not, it's not okay. And so for the pitching staff, you can see we've gotten a little cheaper. We've moved Dana to there. We have Hancock up here. We got rid of Brian Wu this offseason. I was not going to pay for that regression. I threw a prospect in order to make that work out. So Ron Tipre is somebody who we brought in, who was a pitcher for the Twins last year. Not very good, but could be a interesting rookie. Lefty Mike Bolger we are bringing up as a reliever. And then we also are bringing up Carlos Trejo this season, who was our second round pick in 2025. He will be our 5th starter. Hancock will move back to the starting rotation, as we're going to go Jones, Crochet, Pepio, Hancock, Trejo for the beginning of the season. And in the lineup, we also made some big moves. We traded away Logan O'Hoppe. We traded away Zach Neto. I think that it was time for them to go do something else. Because we have other guys waiting in the wings. In fact, we actually got Corey Thomas in the Zach Neto trade, who was a shortstop who I liked when I remember doing the draft from the Twins. And he has good contact, good on base. He's a shortstop that I really enjoy. And so I wanted to bring him in. We also have Cabral, so we have a defensive shortstop and a contact first shortstop here as well. 2 shortstops, I like to see it, and they also can both play a multitude of positions if need be. We also brought back Luis Arias. I tried to bring back Shanuel. He took a $12 million a year deal from the Blue Jays. I was able to get Arias for $6 million. I took that deal. So he was very, very cheap. Brought him back. I did not like Ryan Clifford last season. So I was like, I just want to bring Arias back, and he was cheap and on the market. Mike Trout is a 74 overall. He will now be our permanent DH until he probably falls below the Mendoza line. That is when he will go. And Rishi Altman is now a permanent fixture in the outfield, as this is likely, if not 1 or 2 years left of Stephen Kwan. He will be there, and then we also have other guys like Ramirez, Blakely, Rada, Payne, and Jungwoo Park ready to take that last outfield spot soon. That's what I'm hoping. I hope that we can contend, but this is a different team than it was when we made it to the first World Series. And can we continue to contend? I think a lot of that relies on how well Trey Delahanty plays this season. Just want to note some all-stars in this all-star break. Crochet is, but also look, Kyle Harrison, who we had pitched for us 2 seasons ago, is an all-star for the Kansas City Royals. On top of that, I also noticed that I think the most interesting of all-stars is Luis Renivo is an all-star for the Texas Rangers. He's back. He's had a good career over in Toronto. Good 4 seasons. Did he get any? He got a couple all-stars in that time. And yeah, I mean, good for Luis Renivo. And another all-star here. 99 and 63, we take our division again. Going to take the wild card, having the bye. Going for 4 in a row. We are walking away with 4 award winners. Riley Green wins the Hank Aaron Award. Carlos Trejo wins the Rookie of the Year. The MVP goes to Trey Delahanty, and the batting title to Riley Green. So Riley Green only misses out on a Triple Crown because of Trey Delahanty. So MVP goes to our, face of the franchise. We said we needed to replace Trout. I think we've done so. Cole Reagans finishes 3rd, meaning that he gets the Cy Young. Ooh. Carlos Trejo could have had that in his rookie season. 21 and 3, 285, 159 strikeouts, but those Ks are not there. Hey, that's the 2nd time we've lost out because of ERA versus strikeouts. Though if we were to make that argument, then Paul Skeens deserves it this time. So I guess I'm not too flustered by that. MVP goes to Bryce Harper of the Phillies. When did he last win one? That is a massive gap. To win it in 2015 and 2031, 16 years in between his two MVPs. That's crazy for Bryce Harper as he gets... I mean, he's chasing Trout, essentially, for home runs. He already has more hits than him. Jordan second and Santander third. Bubba Chandler of the Pittsburgh Pirates wins the Cy Young on the NL side. Okay, so that's an interesting replacement. Wonder how much nicer this would have been if they just could have kept Skeens and Jones. League leaders in the AL for batting average is Riley Green with a 337. Gustavo Salinas in second for the Tampa Bay Rays with 311. Hits leader is Riley Green, who had 217 hits on the season, leading the way. One of the best seasons in Angels history here for him. Corey Thomas for us also led the league in doubles. Home run leader was Trey Delahunty, and second was Riley Green. Our offense seems to have been pretty dominant here. Trey Delahunty with 125 RBIs and Riley Green with 121. When it comes to pitching stats, your league leader in saves is Joey Wentz of the Tigers. He had 51 saves. Your ERA crown goes to Tariq Skubal with a 2.1 ERA. And your strikeout leader is once again Oscar Guillen of the Blue Jays. Dude gives up a lot of runs, but he strikes a lot of guys out. And on the NL side, your batting average and batting crown goes to Bryce Harper of the Phillies. The hits leader was not Harper, it was actually Jake McCarthy, now of the Cincinnati Reds, with 198 hits, getting most of the opportunities there. Your home run leader, Nolan Gorman of the Arizona Diamondbacks, takes the crown from what had normally been Yordan Alvarez of the Diamondbacks, as they're probably still going to be very, very competitive this upcoming season, if not being the Phillies. Pitching stats in the NL, is led by Andrew Nardi of the Braves with 51 saves, and Fernandez and Beck right behind him with 49. Your ERA crown goes to Brandon Pfaadt of the Arizona Diamondbacks with a 2.43 ERA, and your strikeout crown goes to Edward Cabrera of the Chicago Cubs. They sent down Tyler Holton again. 1.17 ERA in 54 innings. 8.9 whip. Does the game have a problem with him? Like, does the game not like Tyler Holton? Because I like Tyler Holton. They also sent down Ben Joyce, though I could see this one a little bit more. 4.34, 1.73 whip. Yeah, he might be out of gas here. 74 overall. He might be done. So our actual pitching staff, Caden Dana had a 6.35, 1.43, moved him over to the bullpen right away as he started off the season pretty poorly. Alfonso was the one who brought up. Ashby, very, very good, 1.58 ERA, 1.07 whip in 57 innings. Amazing season for the reliever. Mike Boulder, not as good, 3.98. Pepio was a starter. I think it moved him over because he got injured. And so 3.32, 1.22, he will swap him with Cade Horton, the actual reliever here, with a 3.34 and a 1.16 whip. Pinto came up and Cairo never did. Porter Hodge with a 2.88 and a 1.16 whip. He ends up pulling away with 45 saves this past season, staying very, very consistent as a reliever. Our starting rotation, Jared Jones, 3.3, 1.16 whip. Crochet with a 3.01 and a 1.15 whip. Pepio, 3.32, as we just mentioned. Ron Tipre moved over to the starting rotation after Caden Dana did so poorly. 4.07 ERA, 1.07 whip, and Carlos Trejo, second in the Cy Young in his rookie year, also getting Rookie of the Year, 2.85 ERA, 1.08 whip. He is probably one of our aces of the future. I also believe, does that mean Emerson Hancock got sent down as well? Though he did not put together a really good season. 4.06, 1.3 whip. Not necessarily the best. When it comes to the lineup, they sent down Luis Arias, who, yeah. 2.37, 2.95. I actually moved him to the bench. He never seemed to put it together after I moved him to the bench. Not a good season from Luis Arias. as he moved over to the minors. Christian Moore, 211 in his minimal appearances this season. I do think he will be a future starting second baseman for us, but still not necessarily that great. Cabral, not that great. Park came up in September. He was all right. Sergio Blanco is a backup catcher, 243 average. That's okay. Corey Thomas led the league, or led off for us this season with 163 hits, 280 average, 372 on base. That seems to be a great move. I don't necessarily know WAR-wise for WAR for him, but I would say I'll take the 4 WAR from Corey Thomas on $780,000 a year over the 3 WAR from Zach Neto on $20 million a year. We will come back to the next two guys. JJ Rogers has a little bit of a down year here, but was still all right on base. He just walked a lot more. 15 home runs from him, 251 average, 735 OPS with a 4 WAR season from the catcher spot. Mike Trout pulled away with 20 home runs this season, 277 average now as a full-time DH, 168 hits on the year. Not bad for Mike Trout in this season, 790 OPS, almost getting an 800 OPS and a 1.5 WAR. Seems to be a little bit better now that he can just sit out every day. We're going to get, I think, a couple more seasons out of him, I would think. He's at 620 home runs. I don't think he'll get to 700, but I don't know how much longer he has left in the tank. He did get a silver slugger this season at DH, which is awesome. Brendan Rodgers had his regression finally. 146 hits, 258 average. What did he get for WAR this year? 1.8. Yeah, so he is regressing. I think Brendan Rodgers is about done here. I think that was the last year of his contract anyways. So he will be gone at the end of the year, and Christian Moore will take his spot. Clifford took the first baseman spot. Didn't do necessarily much with it. 240 average, though 2.324 on base is okay. Quan, 260, 21 home runs, another decent season from him, and 285 and 13 home runs from Altman. Though our core members were our MVP and MVP runner-up. Riley Green as the runner-up is regressing, actually across the board regressing, but had 217 hits, 37 home runs this year, 337 average, 400 on base, almost 1,000 OPS. He put up a grand total of 7.8 WAR this season. But our main guy, Trey Delahunty, 185 hits, 43 home runs, 125 RBIs, 936 OPS. And at third base, he's going to come home with 6.6 WAR, meaning he gets an MVP this year, though he had a better season last year. It seems that he just got a little bit luckier with less competition this season. He's 23 years old, already has an MVP. He's already at 171 home runs and 900 hits. Let's hope he can continue to produce at this level. Let's see who we have for the playoffs. We will be getting the Cleveland Guardians and Shane Bieber, who is back on this team, and Pablo Lopez is now on this team. Interesting reset for the Guardians. We're going to go Jones, Crochet, and Pepio here in this first round. Give me a good chance, guys. Jones against Bieber in game 1. We lose that one 2-6. Crochet versus Lopez in game 2. We win that one 6-0. It is a 1-1 series going into Cleveland. Ryan Pepio versus Julian Cruz. We lose that one. We are down 2-1. Ron Tipre versus Mitch Spence here. For all the marbles, we win, meaning Carlos Trejo versus Pablo Lopez to advance to the ALCS. I think you got a good shot here. We do. We'll be taking on the Tigers in the ALCS. And, I mean, they normally couldn't get past us. They didn't have to play us this round. So we get to play them in the ALCS. Actually, who did they beat? Did they take out... They took out Boston. Interesting. On the other side, St. Louis and Colorado. Okay. Jones, Crochet, Pepio. We know this Tigers team. We faced it almost every season. Here we go. Game 1. Jones takes the loss against the Tigers. Crochet versus Job in game 2. We get the win. It is a 1-1 series. Pepio versus Kiter Montero in game 3 in Detroit. We win that one. We are up 2-1. Tipre will take game 4 against Reed Detmers. We have a 3-1 lead against the Tigers. Can we go back Trejo versus Tariq Skubal. We win that, and we are going to a 5th straight World Series to take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Our rotation reset back to the top, so we are good to just run straight through it. They have Christian Javier, Joaquin Rodriguez, and they have Quinn Matthews. I'm surprised to see the Cardinals here, but I guess they've been bad for long enough. Jared Jones versus Christian Javier in Game 1. We lose that one. Game 2, Crochet versus Joaquin Rodriguez. We take the 7-0 victory. It is a 1-1 series going into St. Louis. We go into Game 3, win that one. We are up 2-1. T-Bray versus Max Meyer in Game 4. We take a loss. It is a 2-2 series. Carlos Trejo versus Christian Javier. Can we take the lead? We are down 3-2. I don't think we're going to jump in. This is several seasons in. Can Jones take it? We'll jump in if we go to Game 7. We win. Game 7. Crochet versus Cooper Jerpy. You know, I love Game 7s. Game just wants me to quick manage every single playoff run. The Cardinals are 83-79. So they are a wild card team. They are making a miraculous run here to try to stop the dynasty of the Los Angeles Angels here, as we are going to go into Game 7. Garrett Crochet is going to be on the mound. Does anybody deserve to not? Oh my God, Quan has been terrible, but we have to keep him. He's been our savior for so long. All right, here we go. They have Jacob Young, Crawford. This is an interesting team because I don't see, I guess besides maybe Weatherholt, I don't see any real stars here on this Cardinals team. We should have the advantage as long as we can pull this out. Walk from Riley Green, strikeout from Delahunty, and a fly out. We get through the second inning as well. Richie Altman gets a single, a walk, puts men on first and second for Stephen Kwan. He gets a walk, bases loaded for Corey Thomas, gets a single, 2 runs in. We are up 2-0 in the second, fielder's choice. Weatherholt gets a single and a stolen base, ground out, run scored. Stolen base, strikeout. We are up 2-1 going into the bottom of the third here. In Game 7 of the World Series, fielder's choice, a double, men on second and third for J.J. Weatherholt. 3-run home run off of Garrett Crochet. Okay, that means I feel like we're going to have to move to the bullpen. J.J. Rogers does get a double, though. We fly out. We are down 2 runs here. We will get through that with Crochet. Single for Riley Green. Come on, Delahunty. Fly out. Trout. Strikeout. Rogers. Single. Men on first and second for Ryan Clifford. He has not been good so far. And he grounds out. We are going to make the pitching change to, I guess, I'll go Pepio here. Pop up. Double. Scored run. I don't know if I should have went to Pepio. We are now down 3 in the bottom of the 6th. Ground out from Altman. Ground out from Rogers. Single from Kwan. Triple from Thomas gives us gives us a score at least. Can Riley Green hit him in? That's a ground out. Pepio hits him. Fielder's choice. Stolen base for Jacob Young. And a triple. This team's offense, I mean, they're just hot. They're just hot. Don't know what to say. This is a team that has not been good all year, but they are hot for the playoffs. 2-run home run from Mike Trout makes it a 2-run game. Brendan Rodgers with a single. Pop out. Walk. That means J.J. Rogers against Christian Scott here. They're going to switch to Liberatore. I guess. Come on, Rogers. Strikeout. Kwan. Fielder's choice. We do not get out of that one. It is the top of the 8th. We are going to switch over to, I guess they've got a couple lefties in a row. We're going to go to Holton.
For the Angels, number 88, Tyler Holton.
Well, I think that's about it for us.
Now pitching for the Angels, number 34.
Guess the Cardinals get to be David against Goliath today
Now pitching for St. Louis.
as they put together just a crazy 6th inning. Oh, wait. We're down 5.
Now pitching for St. Louis.
Ground out.
Number 61,
Single.
Angel
Down 4.
Serpa.
Fly out. We lose and do not four-peat as we lose in Game 7 to the 83-79 not Arizona, St. Louis Cardinals. Cinderella, the shoe never dropped for the St. Louis Cardinals. They win a World Series. It's probably one of the worst teams to ever do so. Good for them. 2032, Trout is still here. He's still got a decent bat. And we still have a couple years left on him. He is going to continue to DH, as we said, until he falls below the Mendoza line. And I mean, right now he's still being productive. So we're really just going to focus on him. I do think this team could still contend, but I don't necessarily know if we, I mean, maybe we can. Getting beat like that was a kind of a surprise. 98-64, we're still one of the best teams in all of baseball. We win the division, and we'll be taking on the winner of the wild card game. I mean, still a good team. And part of that is because we have 4 award winners, including Jared Jones getting the Cy Young year in 2032, Hank Aaron to Trey Delahunty, MVP to Trey Delahunty, batting title, he gets the Triple Crown. 328 average, 35 home runs, 145 RBIs. We'll take that. That is a Triple Crown, 2-time MVP from a face of our franchise, the third baseman, Trey Delahunty, the Cy Young, Jared Jones, as well, 20-6, 2.23 ERA, 202 strikeouts. No Rookie of the Year. Greg May finished second. That's a closer. A closer won Rookie of the Year. When we go back to the MVP on the other side, Yordan wins it again for the Arizona Diamondbacks with 35 home runs. And Brian Bayo, who was, I think, a Rule 5 pickup, they got a Cy Young out of a Rule 5 pickup. That's crazy. In 2032, we kind of took a little bit of a softer approach, kind of let the computer do a little bit of moves, though I did manage some of the contracts here. So Alfonso didn't play. Caden Dana, 5.53, not necessarily great. Ashby, still very good. Bolger was very good. Cade Horton was very good. And Porter Hodge, finally looks like he has regressed down to below average. Jared Jones was your Cy Young winner, 2.23 and an 0.88 whip with 202 strikeouts. Amazing from him. Crochet, in his last year under contract, had a 3.13, 1.13 whip. Trejo, 3.91. Tipray, 4.3 with a 1.31. And Greg May, 4.31 with a 1.32. I think Jones has regressed massively, and we still have 4 years on him. Crochet has not regressed yet, and he is on the end of his contract. So, tough for the future. I think we might be running out of room with this team that we spent a lot of money on around Trout. Lineup-wise, Quan had to go to the bench this year as he hit 218. He is about done as well. Brendan Rodgers also left in the offseason because he was done. Cabral is an 83 overall. He should be able to play this next upcoming season. Was very good this year. Jungwoo Park, 297, also very good. Sergio Blanco, good as a backup catcher. Our leadoff hitter, Corey Thomas, 87 overall now, hit 171 hits, 298 average. A great leadoff shortstop. Richie Altman hit 273 in the outfield. Delahunty with the Triple Crown, 35 home runs, 145 RBIs, and a 328 average. And Riley Green, who's an 83 overall. That hurts. Still hit 300. Still put up 29 home runs. But this regression is bad from Riley Green. Like, really, really bad. JJ Rogers hit over 300, 21 home runs, 82 RBIs for him. Fantastic catcher. Clifford, 262 with 24 home runs. Pretty good. Still probably would have liked Shanuel. And Christian Moore in his first real full season. I guess 2030, he also played a decently full season. But his full season at second base, 247 with 22 home runs. Trout, and then Emmanuel Rodriguez, 263. Trout hit 23 home runs again in his age 40 season. He is at 2,793 hits and 643 home runs, hitting 270 this season. Still a 789 OPS, so he still has got a good bat. 1 WAR, I mean, not bad. I can't really blame it. Another Silver Slugger, too. He's still being very, very productive for us. I think he might still have some years left in the tank. Let's see what we can do in the playoffs. We get Cleveland once again, back-to-back years. They don't have Shane Bieber anymore, but Jared Jones will take Giancarlo Brito in Game 1. We win that one 6-4. Crochet in Game 2 versus Andrew Painter. We lose that one, tying this up. Carlos Trejo will have Game 3 against Julian Cruz. We lose that one. Can Tipre hold on to it and continue to get us to a 6th straight ALCS? Please, Tipre. Oh, one more game. Greg May versus Andrew Painter to get to a 6th straight ALCS. We win. We will be taking on the Rangers again here. Jones, Crochet, and I mean, they are a good team. So, Game 1, we get lose right here. Jones gets lit up, your Cy Young winner. Crochet against Shashin in Game 2. We win that one. It is a 1-1 series as we go into Texas. Carlos Trejo versus Jonathan Haley. We win that one. We are up 2-1. Tipre versus Bieber is now a Ranger. 3-1 lead. Greg May versus Brennan Malone. We win that one. We were taking on the Rockies or the Cardinals. Will it be the Cardinals for revenge season? All right, I want to see it. Can we get revenge on the team that upset us? Actually, I want to check. Where did they finish in the standings this season? 88 wins this time, so a little bit more reasonable. But we have the Cardinals once again. Jared Jones loses Game 1. Mike Bolger loses it. Crochet versus Joaquin Rodriguez in Game 2. We lose that one. We are down 0-2 going into St. Louis. Carlos Trejo versus Walter Choi. I think the Cardinals are the team that has our number. We do win that one. We do win that one. We're still alive. Game 6, Jared Jones versus Christian Javier. Oh my God, Game 7 again. We can't get away from Game 7s. The Cardinals almost blowing it. They were up 3-0. Can we come back from down 3-0? Oh, all right. Crochet. Again, same situation we were in last year. This time we're the team that's hot. In Angel Stadium. Game 7 of the World Series. I don't know. All right. It looks like the same. They have Bryce Harper. Okay.
Ball 4, take your base. 3.
But same situation we were in last year. They just now have Bryce Harper. We now have Emmanuel Rodriguez. Ryan Clifford. Solo home run. Get a 1-0 lead.
3. Take your base.
Walk from Emmanuel Rodriguez. Single from Altman. And a fly out.
4, take your base. 3.
Ground out. We are still up 1-0. Riley Green with a single. Strikeout from Rogers. Fielder's choice. As we get a double play there. Bottom of the 5th. Corey Thomas gets a single. Flies out. Come on. Crochet gives up a run in the 6th. We get a double from Delahunty, though. Strikeout from Green. Ground out from Rogers. And a strikeout. So we cannot capitalize. We are going to make a pitching change. I guess I go... Who was the best pitcher for us this year? I'm going to go to the starter. We're going to go to Carlos Trejo. Ground out, strikeout, and he gets him out. Going to the bottom of the 7th. Tied at 1. Christian Moore hits a solo home run to give us the lead. Double from Mike Trout. Strikeout from Rodriguez. Walk means men on first and second for Altman. Bases loaded for Delahunty. 2 runs scored. We're up 3. Another 3-run home run for Riley Green. We are up 6. Clifford gets a double. They fall apart this time. It is the top of the 8th. We will let Trejo pitch that out. And, I mean, all right. Pitching change. We are going to go to Porter Hodge, who gets a double play. And we win our 4th World Series in 6 appearances in a row, getting our revenge on the St. Louis Cardinals. coming back from down 3-0 in the series. We win the whole thing. Man, we've created a dynasty here in Los Angeles. Your World Series MVP is Richie Altman, and your playoff MVP is Trey Delahunty. Last season, your playoff MVP was Corey Thomas, by the way. I skipped it because, we'd lost, and I didn't necessarily know if it mattered, but I guess it still does. We are still a competitive team, and I don't know how much gas we have left in the tank. But I guess 2033, maybe we'll be back again. Can we make it 7 appearances in a row? I offered like every person possible contracts. Not a single one took it. So, Jared Jones, Carlos Trejo, Tipre, May, Alfonso, Dana, Cairo, Ashby, Bolger, Horton, Ortega, Pinto, and Porter Hodge will be our rotation this season. And our lineup will be Thomas, Altman, Delahunty, Rogers, Green, Jungwoo Park, Clifford, Moore, and Trout. I brought Mendoza back because for some reason the CPU made me cut him. And I don't think I'd like Emmanuel Rodriguez for this, so I'd rather just see if Park ends up being better. And Cabral is still on the bench, I guess. So Trout is a 62. I still think he has gas in the tank, though. Still a positive WAR player. Somehow, some way, this is the best team we put together. 113 and 49. We're not even trying to keep the studs. I guess our young guys are just performing at a level that, keep the dynasty alive, guys. 113 and 49 this season. Cy Young from Juan Alfonso. Wait. Hank Aaron from Trey Delahunty. Rookie of the Year from Juan Alfonso. MVP from Trey Delahunty. Batting title, another Triple Crown. Delahunty wins 3 straight MVPs, 39 home runs, 129 RBIs, 331 average. I kind of want to speed through these things now because I feel like we're just getting the same things, but Alfonso was a rookie? Wow. Yeah, we drafted him in 2026 and wins the Cy Young and the Rookie of the Year. JJ Rogers was the runner-up in the batting title. Wow, okay. Just a quick take a look at league leaders just to see what we got. Alfonso 20 wins, Alfonso innings pitched, RBIs, batting average, hits, runs, walks for Jungwoo Park, slugging percentage for Delahunty. I mean, speed through that because all right. I guess the only player that I really care about, how's Mike Trout doing? 30? He hit 30 home runs. He's at 2,937 hits, 30 home runs. He's up to 673. I don't think he's going to retire. I think this might be the same bug we ran into last year. Another Silver Slugger. 22 seasons in. Okay, all right. We'll see if he retires at the end of this season. But, across the board, the team was good. Can we just look at the stats? Not player stats. Team stats. Team rankings. 285 team average. Most runs. Most hits. Not most doubles. Second most home runs. Most RBIs by like 100. How's the pitching? Oh, first in pitching. Okay, I'm not even gonna change anything. We're going straight in. Look, we're gonna sim like the postseason. We're gonna sim through this. Boom, full speed run. Jared Jones versus Jack Quinones. We lose that one. Trejo in game 2 versus Shashin. We lose. Oh no, guys, we finally don't make it to the World Series. I probably should have fixed the rotation. We get swept by the Rangers. All right, it's over. Finally, our run is over. The Rangers defeat the Rockies in the World Series. Will Mike Trout retire? Let's just do a quick sim to the offseason. Your contract with your manager has ended. Few retired players. No, he will not. We'll do one more season to see if it's bugged. In fact, we won't do one more season. I think we've adequately rebuilt the Angels at this point. We are going to set everything to auto and just see what Trout does when he retires. I don't mind. I actually had the contracts already set to auto for signing for the last year. We're going to set everything to auto and just see what he looks like when he retires. I'll show you that when that happens. 96 and 66 the first season. I have taken my hands off the wheel. We win our division again, though. I do want to check, see if we had any award winners. We're just going to run through this quickly. A 4th straight MVP for Delahunty. Ricky Dozier gets that. Junior Caminero gets the MVP on the other side. And nothing else real special here. He does miss out on the Hank Aaron, though it's 148 RBIs. Just been dominant since he's got here. Okay. Big question as we look here. RBIs, bases and balls, WAR for Delahunty. Let it is taking a look at the lineup, which I see they sent down Trout, I think, or I can't find Trout. Am I blind? Am I blind? They sent him down to single A. Yeah, he hit 226 this season, but has crossed the 3,000 hit threshold. It's at 682 home runs. I'd say after crossing below 60 overall, finally having a negative WAR season, he is done here. So let's just see how this season goes. Let's actually move him back into the playoff roster quick, and then we will see what we can do for the last season, for the last hurrah of our man Michael Trout. And let's just see what we can do here. Going into the calendar, just kind of speeding through. We aren't changing anything. Okay. We lose the first 2 games to the Rangers. We win game 3. We win game 4, 19-5. Greg May versus Jack Quinones. We win game 5. We come back and reverse sweep Trejo, Alfonso, Melvin for the next series. We win game 1. Win game 2. Lose game 3. Win 4. We are up 3-1. We are going back to the World Series against the Diamondbacks here with... Okay, we're back, guys. We had one down year, but we're back. Alfonso versus Connor Phillips. Melvin versus Brian Bayo. We win that one. Game 3. Tipre, we're up. Trejo versus Steve Cortez. We win again. The Diamondbacks are never allowed to win a World Series as long as we exist. We get another that, because he was on the team, is 5 World Series for Mike Trout. We go 7 out of 8 years in a row. This thing could keep going, and I honestly think we could continue to win. Let's see if the game naturally lets him retire or not. He does not, but we are going to take a look at him and just know that he would have. I mean, there goes Shohei, who came in so much later with 554 home runs and 2,400 hits. If we look at our roster, they sent Mike Trout back down again to single A again. Mike Trout is done. He is 43. He has played 23 seasons. He has played 2,893 games. 3,036 hits, 682 home runs, hit 288, 932 career OPS. He ends with 109 WAR, 3 MVPs, almost had one but got hurt in 2027. 2 Hank Aaron's a Rookie of the Year. He gets a grand total of, that is 15 All-Stars, 1 Gold Glove in 2025. What's more impressive, on top of the 15 All-Stars, is the 15 Silver Sluggers that led all the way to when he was a DH in 2033, which is last season. Home run champion in 2025, and 5-time World Series champion Mike Trout. While he had a poor last season, ends up being one of the greatest players of all time. I think he could have continued to go, but we are not going to let him. I do want to take a look and show you some of the other guys quick before we finish this off. Just some of these core pieces. Trey Delahunty is a 4-time MVP, winning 4 in a row, 2 batting titles, 6 Silver Sluggers. He's got a lot of time left. He's still 27 years old, 287 home runs, 1,500 hits. He's about the point that like Soto would have been at, and so I think this guy looks like a guaranteed Hall of Famer. I mean, he's a 5-time World Series champion himself. So he's got a lot of time left to continue to rack up the numbers. And I think this Angels team has so much potential still waiting in the wings that they could win more. I think, you know, it's fun to see what we did here. Riley Green is a 72 overall. His contract is going to age poorly, but it's the last year of him. Richie Altman ended up being pretty decent, though nothing real special, just decent in his time when we brought him up. I think some of the core pieces that I really liked were Brendan Rodgers at second base. Garrett Crochet was amazing, and really, I think our bullpen. All the moves we made in the bullpen were huge for us this entire franchise. You know, our draft picks, Juan Alfonso won a Cy Young. Carlos Trejo deserved to win a Cy Young. And those were two guys that we drafted. I think Lawrence Melvin was somebody I drafted as well. Darren Rivera was somebody I drafted. He hasn't even come up yet. So, I mean, it's been a fantastic rebuild here in 2034. I will note, for people who have not played this yet, this game takes a lot longer than MLB 24 to get through a season if you want to be realistic, if you want to take your time and be precise with your roster adjustments, your scouting, your free agency. That extra move to the offseason that they added has changed another layer to how long this thing goes. I'd say for me, each season took me about 2 hours, except for these last 3, which you can kind of hear I was speeding through. And I started on, you know, time of release, the first time, as soon as I got on Friday when the game came out, March 14th. So this has been already a good, I mean, we've went, what, 8-9 seasons, I think. So you can do the math on how long this has taken. It's just a fair warning to everybody. This is going to be a little bit longer, meaning I think for me, rebuilds might take a little bit longer to get out this year. Then you're not going to get my every 2 days system that I did last summer, though I will try. This is going to be at least minimum 3 days to get things done. But I think we were pretty successful here. When we looked at our goals, we had award winners. We won World Series. We kept Trout there. We got him to the Hall of Fame. I know it's not official, but he would hit that number once he eventually retires. We just hit the bug with DH. I don't know if that's a bug or if that's just a part of the game mechanic, that if you put them in DH, they never retire. But, oh well. So, I want to thank everybody for watching, for jumping in and watching my first MLB 25 video with the Los Angeles Angels. We have met all of our goals, and we built a dynasty here in LA. Spent a lot of money, and I think that means we got to go to our roots for some of these other upcoming rebuilds. Get back to being cheap. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, share, subscribe, and hope to see you next time. Adios.